earthquake a little while ago.
I didn't feel anything.
What are you
woke
doing?
up suddenly.
Very slight.
My son said it was in Ridgecrest of 5.1.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow.
What are you doing up there, Pam J? Shaking things up, huh?
Yeah. No, THIers got to shake stuff up.
Well, Ridgecrest is quite a way. Ridgecrest's quite a way off for us, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the map. But my son spelled it, and they're in San Juan Capistrano. So.
Who's on the Samsung?
That's me. I'm having a lot of trouble. My laptop, my phone. Can you hear me?
Is that you, Vicky?
Is this Vicky?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm having lots of trouble. I'm seeing a lot of it. I won't even go into it. Attacks. What's his name was trying to help me, and I don't know what's going on. So I'm on my phone, and now it's going to heat up, so I don't know how long I can be on it. Lots of stuff going on with my stupid software stuff.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, weird.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. The purpose of this call was getting back into project plans, proposals, and submittals, helping anyone that has something that they want to propose to the People's Club. Also, any updates on distribution centers. And I was hoping Miriam would come on to give us an update on the business management that she's setting up. We'll see. And so we could do that, or if everybody just wants to vent again, and like we did Monday, we could do that also. But let's start with Phyllis. She has a few things that she wants to talk about, and then we can take it from there. How's that?
Okie doke. I was working on the website, newearthcalifornia.org, and with Michael J. And it occurs to me, there was one article I was thinking about putting on, and then we both had second thoughts about it, because it was more in the order of this pandemic and now the riots and all that kind of thing. And I asked Michael J.'s opinion about what he thought should go on or not. He says, no, I don't think so, because we don't want to come across on this website like a conspiracy theory kind of group. We want to have some practical things. We want to have some things for California that sound positive, whether it's the farming or food bank information or any and all kinds of things like that, the creative end of things, and maybe stay away from the controversial issues. So he suggested, and it makes sense to me, to discuss this with the group. What are some of the ideas people might have as far as what you want to see or don't want to see on the website? It's our communal website, so we don't want one or two or three people deciding what goes on there. We want to have a consensus, what people would be comfortable with and what they would not be comfortable with. So any thoughts? That's pretty much okay. Bill Willits has his hand up. Go for it, Bill.
Yeah, I wanted to say I'm only going to be here until about 7:30. I have to go out after that. But as far as the website, yeah, I know what you mean. I've been called a conspiracy theorist for many years now. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we could have like a page for weird stuff.
Yeah, private page.
The main site just being, pretty straightforward, acceptable stuff.
We could do a private page on top of our page.
Oh, okay. I could talk to Michael J. We could have a kind of just one of those little corners where you put some interesting or odd or just wondering about this kind of stuff, or just talking about things that we're questioning or whatever. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. It's one that not everybody can see, like the general public, if we have some concerns with something like he's talking about.
Well, what does our mission statement say on the website? I don't remember seeing anything about conspiracy or, I mean, I could go there I can go there right now and read it.
Sure.
I don't remember it saying anything about conspiracy theories or, it was just a general, we're a working group, involved in, solutions and project plans for California. I'll go back and try to find it and read it. Go ahead, take it away, Phyllis.
Okay. Angela, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think we have, Facebook page and MeWe page to discuss other things as members of THI. I think the web page should be more about like solution based and information about the projects that we have going, and I'm in agreement with what you and Michael J. were thinking.
Right. Good. I'm glad that you folks feel it, because the more I thought about it, I mean, you're right. We've got MeWe and Facebook stuff to vent, or you can go off if you're Twitter or whatever group you might be part of and go ahead and do that. So yeah, good. I'm glad to hear that. Thanks, Angela.
Hi, fellas. This Kenny's on right now too. Just want to let you know. Go on mute.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Kenny.
I'm ready when
Tina,
you are.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're here,
I
Jim?
agree too. I think it would turn some people off.
Okay.
Having too much, conspiracy theory things on there, and we can use all the help we can get. So
right.
I'm in agreement with that too.
All right. Very good.
Okay.
Jimmy?
The website. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. The website specifically says, first of all, thinking and acting different. New Earth, California is a group formed to discuss important topics related to manifesting actual freedom for humanity, discuss solutions that help us all learn how to heal and empower ourselves and each other, thought-provoking content and conscious conversation coming soon. We look forward to your visit. Period. So how does everyone like that?
I like that, and I think it says pretty much we're not into conspiracy theories and other kinds of things. We just stay away from those controversial issues and look for practical solutions for California.
Pretty general.
Okay, Demi.
Kenny, I agree too, because it'll just attract other crap we don't need.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Demi.
Well, I think that unless something comes along of that nature, conspiracy nature, that is inserts itself into what we're doing or intersects it, I think we should leave it out and just focus on what we're here for, and that's plenty.
Great.
So I agree with everyone so far.
Okay, sounds good. I think we're getting a consensus here that we stay away from those touchy topics and stick with things that are solutions and positive things for California.
We don't want
focusing, but that's what it is, focusing on California. What do you think, Sean?
I was just saying, yeah, we don't want anything to distract us from our goals, right now. Because there's a lot out there that's trying to just get our attention, and not that it's not important, but it's like we're losing valuable time, like when we could be concentrating on building community and stuff like that. So yeah, concentrating on building community and everything like that is focusing on that stuff is important. Agreed.
Good.
Is it cold enough, George?
Sean, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you familiar with WordPress?
WordPress. Well, I use a Mac, so is that a?
Oh, that's for the building websites and
yeah, right.
website content.
Yeah, I don't really build websites. I'm not really good at that. Right?
Just curious.
Yeah.
All righty. Thank you very much. Glad to see you. Anybody else want to comment on this? Otherwise, Jim, whatever else you want to get started on? Okay.
Well, does Bill have his hand raised again?
Oh, sorry. Bill, did you have your hand raised again or just didn't lower it?
Yeah, I guess I didn't lower it. Sorry.
I thought I saw a couple of hands. Okay. Like I said, we can start going forward again and discuss updates on the distribution centers, or if anyone has an individual project that they want to discuss and bring to the group so we can all help you get it submitted, we can do that. Or I see we have quite a few people, about the same amount as Monday, or we can just continue from Monday, and if anybody just wants to talk about what's going on in your particular area, it's up to you guys. I don't want to control the narrative here.
Well, I'd just like to ask Kimberly. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, wait. I'll hold that. Angela, you got your hand raised. Angela, you have to unmute.
Damn, I always do that. I just was quickly gonna tell you that I sent you the email about that project that I was proposing with getting purchasing or do it yourself or like a hardware store and turning it into like a lending tool library. It's really rough. And I started looking for places, businesses around in my neighborhood. There are some. I just don't know. This was my question, like how I can figure out their financial status, or if they're hurting, or if they're planning to, go out of business or sell or whatnot. So I could get like an idea, an estimate of like pricing and like more hard numbers.
Okay, good. You said you sent an email. Did you send it to me or Jim? Or okay, and when did you send it?
I think it was last week.
Wow.
What day are we in?
Okay, maybe. Well, I probably did respond if you sent it last week, but I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look at it to recall where we left it at. So. Okay,
no, you just reached out. You sent me the link to like the proposal site.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And
okay, good.
I filled it out roughly, and I sent it back to you.
Okay. Oh. Okay. I'll come back and look at that. Oh, is he sharing kisses?
I think you also mentioned that, Angela, when Thomas was on. So
yeah.
if that's a small project that you want to possibly get some help with from the People's Club, by all means, why don't you tell us more about it and see if we can't help you with some ideas.
Sure.
So that you can submit that.
Okay.
And possibly get that moving.
Well, the concept is, a lot of people I know, like power tools or any tool, it's like they don't have it. And so I thought it would be neat to have like a hardware store that's already going out of business. If they'll be supplied with all the tools, and it could be like a library, and people could have like a membership ranging, I don't know, from $10 to $15 a month membership, and they can come in and check out like whether it's a shovel they need or sander or whatever that they need, and they don't have the space or the storage, and they don't need to buy a $200 tool. They could just take it home, use it, and bring it back. And the consumable items like nails and screws, whatnot, are for sale, could be for sale. And the membership fees just could go back into the People's Club, and I think it would be a really good community service, for people, that can't afford to go buy tools, and they can just borrow and bring it back.
Yeah, and we were talking too when you were talking about that, Angela, maybe having some classes on how to use a tiller or a wood chipper, or how to make your own mulch or your own compost or whatever it happens to be, the best ways to do it.
Yeah, teach
different things like that, or
yeah,
whatever else you think might be good for that.
I think it would be like a good I'm envisioning like a community, like a gathering place where people, like especially people with wisdom and knowledge, can come and just like impart their trade, their skills, and people, it doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg to learn how to, sustain yourself, like be able to build something that you want to build, or, plant a garden,
And how much you can grow in such a small amount of space, really. Listen, if it's all right with you, I'm going to call on Kimberly because she can't stay long. In fact, she has to go outside to transplant, she says. So, Kimberly, could you talk to us? Then I'll call on Pam J.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. It's like 104 up here. So we were outside. I'm sunburnt, you can see, and I was only out there for a few hours. So we transplanted strawberries because in the beginning of my little movie, do you remember the little boxes that had barely any strawberries? They were completely overrun. And so I had to pull them out, and they are not doing very well. And I knew it was a dangerous move to transplant, but I didn't have a choice. So I'm trying to nurse them, and it looks like I'm going to get closed out. What the heck? It says I'm low on battery, and I'm totally plugged into the wall. That's weird. That's so weird. Right, yeah. The community garden's going good. Basically, they are literally handling everything themselves. They are doing everything. The plants look amazing. I was just back there yesterday, and I went out there again this morning for a brief stint. I showed them how to jury rig a trellis. Now they're trellising everything. They're just finding pieces and doing stuff that I wouldn't even believe possible. Their pumpkins are already huge. They're huge. They planted sunflowers. They went way beyond what I even thought they were going to do. And they don't even really ask me information anymore. They're literally just doing it. So I could not be happier. I could not be happier with them. And they're already giving food away. They've already gotten into the spirit. They've got enough for themselves, and they're literally passing it out. So that whole project has literally already done exactly what it was supposed to do. So I'm very happy with that. Angela, as far as the tools go, we could all pick up tools at yard sales. That's where I would get most of my tools. You could pick up shovels for like $1. And sometimes you'll see a estate sale or a yard sale, and they'll say tools. Go to those. Go to those because they have lots of hand tools, different kinds of implements and things for like 50 cents, 25 cents, $1. I'll start going to the ones here too and see if I can pick things up. I don't know if I can ship a shovel to you, but I could probably box the little hand tools and things if I find stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, if you collect it, I'll make a trip out to you and gather it from you. You don't have to ship anything.
Okay. Yeah, I think it'd be perfect because a lot of my stuff literally comes that way. We picked up a whole wood shop, a whole literal wood shop. An old man passed away and his son just went in and says, I don't want to mess with it. What will you give me? We bought everything for $1,700, and it was the stuff that has the tubes that take all the sawdust out even.
Wow.
It was everything, planers, joiners, it was everything. So you just have to kind of keep your eyes open and look. But I think that's going to be a great project. I do. People need help. People don't have tools and they don't know because you could be told you need to do this, and when you go to the store, there's 10 different things. You're like, I do not know what I'm supposed to be doing here. and you might get the wrong thing. So I think that's going to be a great project. Honestly, that'll be a really great project.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to run something like that. I just feel I
You
just feel the need for it.
You can. You know you can. You can do it. I know you can do it. You just school yourself, Angela. If you come up against something, you call me, call anybody. You go to YouTube. You Google it. You find out. The library has a ton of books about gardening. Okay. There's so many ways to teach yourself. And hosting workshops is really good. Some of the best things I learned were at workshops for like low income stuff. Anyone in the community can go, but if you're low income, it's free. And if you're not low income, you just make a tiny donation. And they were teaching us how to do everything. Really nice.
Great.
Okay. That's it, guys.
Input.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's less than 100 outside right now.
Yeah, I hope so for your sake too.
It's here.
No,
okay, Pam J.
Yeah, I was thinking about, Thomas said that it's hard to kind of fight the clowns and all they're blocking everything. But the post offices have been set up to be a bank in the future. And so this week, I went to the post office. I've been looking for a car, and my sons are helping. And so I got a few money orders from the post office and went around the bank system. And so when I do find a car, it's going to be with a private party. And so it's not going to be, consume, obey, buy. I'll just make the deal with the person and give them the payment, and I'll have a car. But we haven't found one yet. We're still looking. So, and Kimberly, I thought that was awesome. The people are taking the gardening and going away with it. That's great. So that's what I have to say for now.
Okay, thank you, Pam J. All right, Demi.
Okay,
Hi, Demi.
does everyone want to see my beans?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
You're growing those mung beans, I'll bet, or some kind of beans.
Okay, here we go. Okay, now exactly a week ago at 8 o'clock, so it was for a half hour short of a week, they were little beans, okay, and this is just half of them, so here they are.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. Your babies.
Yeah, but here they are. Okay, so let me see if I can get a better angle on this.
Nice.
These are beauties.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And this seems to be a good container. Kind of have to experiment, but they are going crazy. I mean, now they're coming out with their little leaves, and just about every one of them sprouted. And so this is what we have after a week. I thought you'd like this.
Well, I hope you don't have the same problem I had, because I grew some sprouts. They were radish seeds or whatever sprouts. They were a little hot, but I had a hard time harvesting because they were my little children.
Oh no. Well, I know I don't talk to them exactly.
Tear them apart and eat them, and I was feeling terrible.
Oh, that's awful.
That's ridiculous, but that's just how it was. I was so proud of them. They were getting so big so fast, and then I had to rip them out. I couldn't stand it. It was too funny.
Well, you got a point there. It does get kind of attached. I haven't been talking to them, but I did when I first planted them. But yeah, you kind of get attached, and then you're going to eat them. It seems like a sacrilege, but not. Anyway,
somebody's car door is open or something. I don't know.
So I can get. These Coke things. I can get 50 of these things and put them almost in no space at all. Put the stuff in there and basically have this thing roaring along. And if I want to put a few in the ground, I'm going to have an infinite number of mung beans. Almost. This is amazing. Oh, Kim, yeah, can we get some pictures, please, Kimberly?
Yes, I can. You know what? I'm going to jump off the call, go out, take some snaps and photos real quick, because there'll probably still be over 100 out there. And then you guys will still be, and I'll upload them. I'll see if we can share content, okay? From my screen with this.
Sounds great.
Because I don't know if I can take this and my bandwidth won't go that far. Because I live in a block house, and so my router just acts funny anyway. So let me go see if I can snap some photos. Yeah, everything is just amazing looking out there. So let me go do that, and I'll be right back.
Okay, that's excellent.
Okay, guys. See you in a few minutes.
Thank you.
Bye.
You got a lot of, I wasn't on the Monday call, Demi. There was a lot of activity, still got a lot of activity out there on the streets.
It's died down a lot. I was driving around all over today, and it just totally amazes me the amount of boarding up that's going on. Everything is being boarded up. I mean, all of Hollywood Boulevard, La Brea, Fairfax, all of the boulevards. It's just amazing. I was going to go to my bank in the Larchmont area, and it's all boarded up. You can't even get into it. It's people are going crazy with the boards. So it's just really kind of hard to see that because of it's just, but yeah, but I don't think the actual rioting now is going on much anymore. So I hope it stays down. I know, we know that the clowns are behind this, but I think that what's happened is the police and the public are getting together. I can't believe how much that's happening. And I don't think they had that in mind. I think they had something else in mind. So I think that's kind of good.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hoping that's going to prevail. And I kind of think that this has run out of gas, Phyllis. I really do. I don't know how it is in the rest of California, but it's for me.
I'm glad to hear it. I think we're in better shape right at this point than New York, that's for sure.
Hey, Phyllis, I got my hand up, okay?
Okay, buddy, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt, but if I'm up next.
Oh.
Yeah, how you doing, Demi? I hope you're doing okay, and everybody there. I don't know if Vicky's on board, but I've been working with her on her issues, and yeah, we're over the target as far as I'm over the target. I know that because I'm getting hammered. But ask you all, Wendy, my best friend, staying with her, been 6.5 years with her. She's got she has some kind of altar or walk-in that attacks me before the call for here comes up, or when I'm trying to help Vicky or doing other positive things that I've been doing for years. She's great when there's nothing going on, and her name's Wendy Kennedy, so she has some links to the Kennedy family, the Illuminati, or was the Illuminati. But if I can ask everybody to just put their higher power to help her out, and I've spent 6.5 years doing my best to provide for her and to let her do her work, but I just would ask humbly for y'all's help on that. She's the one that showed up with a clown outfit there on that last call, and I gave her a kiss, but right after that, kaboom. And what she does, she's where I will stop. I will not allow anyone to affect my free will, my spirituality, and that's what she is trying to do. It's really, or the altar is, whatever it is. I know her daughter painted. Her daughter's well aware of it. I've helped her with her family, but her daughter has sent me her is a brilliant artist, as Wendy is too, but sent me a painting of or a picture of a painting with paintings in the background that actually she drew that some faces. It was pretty wild stuff. Her daughter's got it nailed down, but I appreciate that. If you could. And number two, I agree with the cops. They don't want to be targets. Here on the West Coast, here where I'm up off the coast, I went up to Fort Bragg, a bigger town up north near Ukiah. I didn't see one cop. I saw one CHP go by last night, but that's the only one I've seen. I hear they're all, holding back, and I see that. I looked around the internet and checked some things out, and they don't want to be targets with that crap that went on where the ambulance drivers were picking up that so-called death there in Minneapolis, or where it was. That was staged, and so I'm seeing people who don't know spirituality, who don't know how to shield, and they're arming themselves. And these people that I saw a video on some town in California where some 3 or 4 Antifas came in there, and they just got their ass whipped by the people guarding a store. So the people power is coming, and that's a really wise decision by the cops, other than the big cities. I don't know. But the bricks being placed around and all that stuff. But it feels at a point where it's going to get better, I hope. And that's about all I got to say, other than any comments on that.
It's okay, Kenny. I'll send some good energy towards Wendy and you, no problem. I think we all do. I think we all pick up some good energy from each other when we get on these calls, particularly, or when we're on MeWe or Facebook or whatever, because that's what this group is about, joining our energy and sharing and caring.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I had to come outside, sit in the car with the phone.
Oh, that? I did hear a car thing. Okay.
Yeah, I turned my key on to lower the window, but I apologize for that. But,
no, that's okay. That's fine. Just glad you could be here.
We'll be with
Alrighty.
you, Ken.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Pam J.
I said we'll be with you, Ken.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you,
we're
sweetie.
with you. We're with you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're getting a virtual hug.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
that'll work.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Vicki, go ahead.
Am I on? Did I mute or am I on?
No, you're on.
I just wanted to tell Kenny that I wasn't able to get on the Zoom. We'll talk about it later. It's like even incognito. CloudFront.net took over and it's owned by Amazon, so that's why I'm on my phone.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah.
We're over the target, aren't we? We are over the target, big time. Well,
okay.
That's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. So I would run a full scan, update, clean everything up, and do your best to keep that AT&T. This is all connected, everyone. Vicky's problems with, if you want to look it up, get on Google Earth and look at this place in Montreal called Campus Bell. Campus Bell is definitely a nest, a big nest. It's got its own bank that's connected to all of the communication companies, AT&T, British Telecom, all over the world. And if you look down at this place and look at the architecture, it made me sick to my stomach from the architecture looking down on it. I mean, there's not one rooftop or one building or anything that looks anything normal at all. And Vicky's getting this walk-in redirect to Outlook.com. And it's labeled AT&T. And she's got some issues at home. We cleaned up. If I could tell him, Vicky, may I tell him a little more?
Sure.
Okay. This house cleaner came in supposedly for free. She spotted somewhere at some symposium, and she was supposedly going to do this pro bono, but she offered all these extra specials, the whole yard, the house, this, that, and the other, and said there was a portal, and ended up charging her $350 to clear the house. And there was, Vicki may be able to explain a little bit better, but there was copper tubes lined up around the edges of the walls, as I understand it, as a magnetic attraction to what was she duct taped down X. I'm not sure what room. I think it was a kitchen. I may be wrong. A big X, and she wanted Vicki to duct tape it down with Gorilla Tape, and said that she was blocking a portal. in actuality, she was installing a portal and making a magnetic attraction. She's got mirrors all over the place from the prior owner, which I took a look at that. He's dirty. Also, I got a tap that there's something in there's these mirrors. I don't know exactly what they look like, but they're not just mirrors. There's some kind of her whole house is wired up wireless. They even took her 2-line phone that used to be just a standard phone, hooked it up to the modem, and made their landline a wireless line. And then she's got a modem. We couldn't clean her computer up until we shut the wireless off and stand alone, and we were able to get it cleaned up. But this gal is part of what's called the Eagle Clan. I did search that, Vicki. I got a couple of hits on it, but I was unable to get in there because of time constraints for this meeting. So-called, she calls herself a medicine woman. I have not found her. She did not give Vicki her last name, but she spelled it as Jode with a J. That raises alarms right away. That's a Jin. It's a Jood was what I got from Vicki. What's happening is when I get an email from Vicki, still, even though I've cleaned my address book up, and she says she has, we get a reply to AT&T Incorporated, which is her first VIKK, STR at Outlook.com. It's a redirect. She's never used Outlook that she knows of. Her actual email address is with sbcglobal.net, which I think is Southern Bell or whatever it was. But this is really hot, this target here. She doesn't have security on her cell phone. Neither does her husband, although she can do that with her licenses that I steered her towards. She's getting some weird text. Her husband sent her a text. They're being very delayed, probably due to a redirect. But she got her husband sent her something, a picture and a comment, and it came to her laptop on a messenger on a Mac, which is weird, and didn't go to her phone, and it came with a different picture of a tiger, I think, or something different as the icon. So when I remote viewed this portal, we caught this thing just in time, in my opinion, of what I felt. But the downloads I've been having and the attacks that she's been having and the attacks I've been having show we're over the target. I saw an army of what looked like ants or bugs or mechanized things that look like bugs just pouring out of that X if it was left there. And it was to a gate, like a Bill Gate, to something else, and it was really heavy duty. So just to let everybody know that I'm looking at that, doing my best. She's part of the Eagle Clan, medicine woman. I got a phone number here. I'm going to be looking a little deeper in here, and I also have an email, and I'm going to call her on it. I'm going to, let's see here, if I have an email or not on her. By the way, Vicki, that link on email that you told me, I can't find that on my safe search. I did send you in your email just to let them know, and I was unable to write it down, but it's a different address than what you gave me. I have to research the com link here and look into it a little more, but that may be a mirrored site as well, a redirect. So I wouldn't answer that email. I'd go through your actual security program and do a chat and see what you can do. But you couldn't get on Zoom at all, either on your Firefox at all. So, right, as I understand it?
Yeah, the regular one and the Firefox with incognito. It wants to access with a CloudFront.net powered by Amazon.
Oh, yeah, warning. Yeah, Amazon. Yeah, Amazon's, yikes, I don't need to tell anybody here about that. But Vicki, go in there and make sure that you go to your performance section and clean again. Do your
Right.
cleaning of your temporary internet files and all that stuff, and then go ahead and what I would probably do is I would run a full scan, or at what time is best for you is to reboot that machine and then come back up. But call me if you need any help on that. This prior owner, I don't know who it was, but I did remote view that. I'm picking up Seal, picking up some other stuff, Psychops. So the fact of the copper tubes, I mean, and the charging of money and the baiting that was used, I'll probably call this girl up on my phone if she's got that same number that you gave me, and I'm going to call her on it after a little while. Okay?
All right. Well, that was how many years ago, and I don't want us to clog up our meeting with just my personal garbage.
Yeah, I'm not. I want to let everyone, the more people in this group that are aware that we're over the target was the only reason that I'm mentioning this now, because that the awareness will increase, more mojo, not mojo, but more high frequency energy in that direction.
Yes.
Awareness.
I totally agree.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. All right. Say, Willow, we haven't heard from you tonight yet. How are you doing?
I'm good. Just packing my car, and I'm going to have my car serviced tomorrow, and just preparing for my trip. So anyway, I'm listening. I was 10 minutes late, but I'm listening.
I'm just glad you're here.
Thank you.
So what do you go, if I may ask, what do you think you're going to be doing on your trip? You're going to be distributing some more of your new flyers?
Well, yeah, I'm going to meet a THI member, hopefully, and I need to look for housing. So I've got about 4 months until winter hits. I got caught in a snowstorm in Texas in October, late October, and then in Nevada, and then Utah. So I don't want that to happen again this year. And now that my son has moved out of his father's house, I have no reason to come here anymore. So anyway, I need to find a temporary place. So I'll travel east for a little bit. I did find some housing. It's shared housing for about $400 to $600 a month. So
sounds good.
Anyway, the main thing I need to do is to find housing. I just don't want to get caught in the winter months with no housing. It was pretty rough. No, it lasts October, November, December. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now, and I just need to, I'm just hoping that the eco villages could start sometime. That's where my heart is to help in the eco villages. And so, anyway, I did actually, when I was looking at hotels last night, I did see that a Motel 6 was closed permanently. So on my way east, I'm going to check up on that. And, that may be something that THI could purchase. So, and house some homeless, even if it's 20 rooms, it's going to help 20 homeless people. So, anyway, I'm looking forward to my journey. It's always hard living in the car because I could only eat one meal a day and have that window to drink 4 bottles of water before I have to stop. And it's going to be harder now that the government offices are closed, the library, city hall. The only places for restroom facilities are gas stations and grocery stores. So I've got to find, I'll probably end up having to live in the hotels or motels for a while, which is expensive. It's anywhere from, now that it's summer season, it's gone up from $45 to $70. So anyway, I am looking forward on my trip and just doing a lot of inner work. You know, it's one thing about being locked in your car and not have a whole lot of contact with people. It's just that, you know, you're just with yourself. And the dreams are great. I dream a lot, and I remember my dreams because everything's internal. You know, my whole life is turned internally. So anyway.
You know, I was going to tell you a little trick. Keep an eye out for mobile home parks. They have clubhouses. They're open. They're usually open, and they have bathrooms in those places.
Well, I did check some when I was driving back from New York, and you have to be a member of those places. I knew of this woman who actually was living in a tent on one of those parks. She was paying $900 a month. I can't remember which state it was. And I couldn't believe it. I said, what are you going to do in the winter? You know, she was having medical issues and working at Walmart. And it's just so expensive to even plant your truck if you had one. It's just crazy. It's just nuts.
Well, if I may interject for a moment, because it's kind of hard to, I've been looking in Zillow, Zillow. And I'm thinking of getting out of LA and saying goodbye and looking at something. And it's amazing what they have. I was checking out the Virgin Islands. I'm checking out Arizona, and the rents can be really, really low. I don't know what you're looking for, where you're heading, but I found that to be a really good resource. So I need to just let you know.
It's not for shared housing, correct? It's for your own place?
Yeah, I mean, but you can get a place depending where you are for like $300 a month or something like that. You know, it's or $350. I'm looking at places, this gorgeous little place, but it was in California, but it's on the Colorado River, and just, by Blythe, and it was $350 a month, and you'd be right on the, really a canal they created off the river, but it's still the river. It'd be beautiful if it were California.
I've been looking for a place like a cottage where all the utilities are paid for. On a month-to-month lease. There are even seniors, 55 and older places. The rent could be $900, but then I'll have to sign a 1-year lease.
Well,
and so if I sign that 1-year lease, that means I can't be mobile if things start to move with the THI, or and so that's why I wanted the month-to-month, and then the utilities paid for.
Well, I just see just an endless variety of stuff. I mean, if you're going in California or something like that, it's going to be pricey. But outside of the state, I mean, I'm looking at stuff for $350, $400 a month that looks really nice, and there's nothing about a lease, So I'm just thrilled. My younger brother, introduced me to that about a week and a half ago, and wow, there's just all kinds of stuff.
I'll look at Zillow. I've been looking at Craigslist. I found housing in Utah actually for $400 to $500 to $600 a month.
Yeah, Zillow is an actual real estate site, and they've got everything. You can buy land, you can buy just rental, you can buy, or rent. You can buy I don't think they have any lease in there, but it's absolutely fantastic, and the stuff. My brother found something for a house and a decommissioned church for like $35,000, 150 miles from Minneapolis, and he was thinking of buying it. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you can get on. It's just enormous stuff. So people want to get rid of things, and but the place on the Colorado River that worked in California, it's $350 a month to rent it, and it was just lovely. And there's so many like that. So
that's in California.
That was in California. I don't want to be in California. I don't trust California. I'm looking outside of California. Something's really seriously wrong with the state, as we all know. So
we can all agree with that.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if I can still be part of this group. I hope so, but I don't want to live too far away. But I was looking at the Virgin Islands this afternoon and thinking, gosh, here's a place I could afford that. Oh, but no, I don't think I want to do that. Yeah. But anyway, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's really fun because it's so within my price range compared to what I'm paying now here in Los Angeles, which is already rent control low. It's still ridiculous. So it's fun. It's just fun to look and the cool stuff. It's really neat. Anyway,
Yeah.
thought it let you know what I found.
In the San Francisco area, for even shared housing, it's like 900.
Oh,
This is shared. This is a one room.
No.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm leaving.
Oh, okay. Well, there's some inheritance money that's coming my way, and there is the stuff that's available. It's like beyond belief. Up in towards Lake Havasu City, on the river, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, et cetera, beautiful house for like $90,000. Now that's a buyer, but California, if you moved here, it'd be like $500,000 at least. This thing is $90,000, and you could probably get them down because, I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's like being a kid in a candy store because still think of that house, $350, and there's the cutest little thing in over the border, or Ehrenberg or whatever that is. Yeah, Ehrenberg, just over the border, from Blythe. And it's a little tiny place. It's just this postage stamp, but again, it's really, really cheap. So anyway, I just am really excited by what I've been looking at. Well, I thought I'd let you know.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hey, Willow, check me if I'm wrong. I heard you say we're coming into the on season, especially here in the Southwest. At the same time, people aren't traveling. So I would think that in your travels, it'd be easy to find, let's say, privately owned small motels and hotels that would, be more than happy to rent something to you, on a weekly or even monthly basis at a decent price. Because from what I'm seeing, I don't think people are traveling this season.
That's what I thought too, and actually called. I was considering in January, before I ended up in Nevada, to go to, I think it was a city on the border of Utah, and they were $35 a night. And I called them, and they are like almost $70. And I said, but no one's traveling. They says, well, it's summer season. That's what they said to me. I said, you don't have a weekly rate? They said no. But
wow.
The winter rate, they're willing to rent at 35. So I don't know. I think this trip is going to be different. I am armed with flyers, and I'll just see what happens. I don't know where I'm going to end up. I just know I need to find something in 4 months. I don't want to get caught in the winter months again. It's pretty rough. But, yeah. I think because I'll be staying in the motel most of the time, that I'll be able to attend the Zoom calls as long as I have Wi-Fi. But if I don't attend it, then you'll know I just don't have access to Wi-Fi at that time. I don't know. I just think that things are going to change this year. Not only for me, but for the whole planet. But I'm just hoping that there will be changes with the funding. I just feel in my heart we need to get started in these eco villages. Get these 20-year-olds. I was in a store yesterday, and this woman, I always try to talk to see who's behind me in line, and it gives me a good maybe 10 minutes to talk to them. And I talked to this young African-American woman, and then she took THI on her phone, and she says, I'm going to look at this. And then I told her about the California THI group. So, I'd love to say to these young people, we're going to need you soon. I just can't wait to one day to say that. And her eyes lit up when I said, possibility for the future. Her eyes just lit up. And I was just so thankful that she was receptive to what I had to say. So anyway, that's it for me.
Thank you, Willow, and have a safe trip. And keep in touch with us. Let us know how you're doing.
Thank you.
Please. Pam J, I'm sorry, who was that?
I would just want to add something to Willow. Have you checked the rules for whatever crossing state lines, wherever you're going, any issues? And
I traveled down to see Jim a couple weeks ago. Half these towns aren't even wearing masks. I actually go, after I gas up, I go into the convenience store to use the restroom. I said, do I have to wear a mask? And they said no. And so these are these small towns in between. And so I'm just going to wing it. I mean, what can they do to me? Are they going to arrest me? You know, I'll head to the nearest truck stop and you know, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I just found that the small towns are just not complying.
Right, exactly. That's where I was going, and you know, if I don't think you're going to run across any problems, and I don't want to spin any plates. I know one person would put like one shopping bag or something in their car, you know, get any crap. But hey, it's a different place now, and you're a stronger gal. I don't see any problems with that. Just to be aware, maybe sometimes a different route that might be required to not have any hassles. But thank you so much, Willow. You've been a wonderful help to us. Thank you.
Oh, sure. I mean, if you if you or Wendy need help, let me know. You know, before I leave, I could make a trip down there, and maybe we can do some healing with the pendulum.
What?
What,
Nick?
You know, I don't offer my help until people ask. I mean, I'm willing to help anybody.
If I throw
okay.
But you know, just let me know before I leave.
It's in the drawer, in the bottom drawer.
I'm not sure whether it'll be 4 or 5 days. I've got a lot of work to do right now before I leave. But you know, I could make a special trip down there to see you and Wendy, and we can do a session for the both of you.
Okay, thank you, Willow. I'm going to get off the line here. I got somebody walking on. I know who it is. Interesting. Okay. But
thanks, Kenny.
All right, y'all. You have a good night, and when you get the flack, you know you're over the target. But hey, mathematical certainty, what is? You know, it's just these days the low frequency just is failing, and it's just you know, they don't know. I guess. I love y'all. And I'll talk to you later. All right.
Take it easy.
Kenny. Thanks.
Hi, Kenny.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Pam J, you have your hand up, kiddo. Is it still up from last time, or did you have something else?
Yeah, I think I left it up.
Okay. Demi, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know if you noticed or what, but there's some incredibly exciting something happening tomorrow. Tomorrow, and Tank and Dan Lutz were talking about it, and tomorrow is the rollout of the United News channel. And Tank has been working like around the clock on this thing in the last week, and this is Kim's baby, and it just sounds absolutely incredible. They are, I don't know what we're going to see exactly, but they have more bandwidth than YouTube. Apparently there's going to be some kind of a YouTube attached to it. They're going to be connecting into, they have a permanent White House press pass. So we're going to be seeing who knows what. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. I have to kind of get the list, but it's this could be and they want, this is going mainstream. It's going to be on TV, and so tomorrow is the rollout. So I'm going to be out in the desert in Blythe, so I don't know when I'll be able to connect to it, but I'm really, really looking forward to seeing this. So just some really, really good news. I just thought, if you haven't noticed that or heard about it, I'd let everybody know.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I heard about it, but I didn't know if there was a link. Do we have a link for it somewhere?
I don't know. I'm going to check in on Dan.
Someone posted it on the page. I think it was David Crony.
Okay. Yep. So, this could really be a major thing ultimately. I think, it's probably gonna be a little rough at first because it's a pretty big project, but I'm really looking forward to it, and I think this is going to help change the world a lot faster. Anyway.
You said they have a White House press pass?
Yes, there's a permanent press pass for the White House.
That's pretty big.
Oh yeah.
You can't get that easily.
Well, Kim talks to Trump a lot,
and that's what I've been hoping to see. Like I've been hoping to get evidence of that. Not that I don't believe it, but it's just like, I want to know.
Absolutely.
That's a good indicator that she has a direct line. I mean, got a press pass. I don't even know how you get something like that.
Well, I don't know either exactly, but it helps knowing the president or having people on his cabinet that you can talk to, and so we will see. But I think that the whole purpose of this thing is just to tell the world what's going on, and get through all the BS. And so
can I just
I'm really anxious.
Add to that? Tank was also talking about the life force where the militia, and they're getting actual badges, and they're gonna it's directly in service, to the executive, whatever.
Yeah, that's directly from Trump. Right, Angela? Trump has signed on and said, okay, yes, we will set you up. You'll be officially, commissioned, I guess.
That's
right?
awesome.
And I love that they're calling themselves Life Force.
Yes, absolutely. Boy, do we need it. So, I'm just, eager for this to happen, and I kind of expect it's going to be a little rough at first because this is such a major project. And so I'm not expecting a lot. So I'm not going to tell anyone until I see, after a while. But, this is something that, our biggest problem is communication, and no ifs, ands, or buts. And Kim, I'm sure, has known this since forever. And I'm sure she's been in the back of her mind working on this, but so many other things had to come first. Well, now this is its time. And then along with the life force, I've got to listen to this whole thing again, Angela. So there's so much in there, and I was so excited listening to it. So anyway, but that's tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow is going to be the beginning of the change of the world in a way that it has never been changed before. I'm hoping.
Yeah. I'm going to hope that too. Thank you, Demi.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll see.
Okay, Vicki?
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw those posts too that you're talking about, Demi, and I'm excited. I was hoping it was legit. I hope it's not some knockoff, so I'm excited too. But the other thing I wanted to ask is, anybody heard from Bill Kelly? I mean, I saw his latest post was he was cruising the perimeter of his business, and they boarded everything up, but they said that they blocked off the streets so that they couldn't go down there. So I'm just wondering how he's doing, because he's not on our call tonight. I'm wondering what's going on, because they posted all this stuff, and he posted on our site like some screenshots of some different things on they're like saying when they're coming and what they're doing and everything, which is kind of interesting if they're going to try to make ruckus. So I just was hoping that he's okay. We set the energetic barriers and everything around his, like what Kimberly said, but I just want to make sure he's okay.
Have you heard anything, Jim? Okay.
Sounds like Bill's the last man standing up there. All the other businesses around him are out of business, and Bill's kind of holding down the fort for the whole complex. And yes, he was on Monday night in the same situation, but it seems to have escalated. It seems like that area where he's at, it's getting hit pretty hard by this Antifa groups. And he put a lot of posts on the pages today. He might show up, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope he's okay. Sure, he's smart enough, but you always want to
Bill's
make
a trooper.
sure. Yes.
Being street smart's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I wanted to say. So
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Vicki. Estella. Hi, Estella.
Hi, everybody. Hi, I arrived late, so is Kimmy okay? Kimberly?
Yeah, she'll be back.
Okay.
She went to pick some strawberries.
Okay.
For us.
So
Yeah, right.
I heard, so I've been following what's going on, but is it official? Is all this Antifa is like infiltration and everything is being a theater? And a friend of mine called me today from San Diego, and she said that Obama made a speech and kind of coded talking like directly to Antifa, like saying you're doing it, go to the next level, something like that. Like, I just don't know much, so I just hope we don't have it in this. So
it seems they're making a big push.
Have anything away, so.
Well, what's going on in your area, Stella?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what's going on in your immediate area?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Are you not seeing any of this taking place?
No, where I am is very quiet. In El Dorado, actually, nothing happened. In
what about
Sacramento?
Sacramento?
They have curfew where we live. I mean, it's a little bit like out of state. Nobody's wearing masks. It's pretty mellow here. And if we have police, it's the sheriff. It's different than the black cars, you know. It's a white truck we have a different kind of police around here. So it's like basically I check, you know, whatever is on.
Were you put on curfew, Estella?
Yeah, I'm here.
No, were you put on curfew?
No, we don't have curfew here. Only in Sacramento.
Okay. So you're kind of in the outlying area that they wouldn't be bothering with curfew for you.
Stella's in the foothills.
Yeah.
Going east of Sacramento.
Right, and we don't see the black cars typical of police we have around here, sheriff, and so it's pretty mellow. They're different attitude, you know.
It was funny. I was listening to Dan Bongino for a little while. I guess he lost it with De Blasio, but he was saying that somebody pulled up in the limousine to loot a store. They were in a limousine and they popped out and were looting a store. That's pretty interesting. It's crazy out there. Really crazy.
Yeah, the only we can do is be positive and not afraid, you know.
Yes, I agree. Do not go into the fear. They'll loose that fear.
Yeah, it's just another distraction too. I mean, it's a big distraction, but it's another distraction. All the time.
And people are calling it out as the whole thing has started with a false flag, and then just to stir this all up, as if we didn't have enough stirred up. But there it is. So, but I'm glad to see people disputing it right away.
Yeah, we got to be careful because there could be more. I mean, it's like anything's possible. You know, we're in this point where they keep ramping up with these crises, and like we just got to be prepared for anything really, and just more than ever, just get communities to look out for each other.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but I think it'll be okay.
Yeah. There was something, I think it was in Twitter, something there, but somebody was talking about what's next, an alien invasion on a hologram. Ramp up everything for the fear.
Yeah, my son
actually, sorry.
Yeah, my son just texted me that there is a small protest in San Juan Capistrano across from the mission, and that's within walking distance of my son's. He's watching it on Twitter, and it appears to be peaceful, so that's a good thing. But anyway, he'll keep an eye on it.
Okay, thanks, Pam J.
I got the
Go
same
ahead.
thing just before I came on. My daughter she does CrossFit. She was on her way to the gym that they have set up. And she called me back and said that she had to stop and turn around because there were protests going on in Point Loma, which is a beach community, the most southern beach community, let's say, in San Diego, before you get into Coronado. But again, it's probably a peaceful protest, whereas these other ones that we had over the weekend started out as peaceful protests, but then they were infiltrated by the paid protesters. And that's what caused all the problems. They're the ones that were burning down buildings. And so, I don't know. It seems like, I asked that question Monday night to Bill. What are the police doing about these obvious paid protesters that are causing all the problems? And if the police aren't doing anything about it, they're complicit. And that's going to be the biggest problem. Whereas, just think, if we just got the police and the military on our side, we could end this thing overnight. Just my opinion.
I thought Trump was pulling in some places were pulling in the National Guard, weren't they?
Yes, I heard that this morning too.
Yeah. Well, that's a start anyway. And I know Oath Keepers has been called on. Oath Keepers has been called on by certain people to protect businesses and things like that. But I think those are just isolated events. And according to Bongino, there were small business owners calling and begging for help from anybody and everybody, security agencies, anybody and everybody they could think of to call because they were afraid the police weren't going to do a thing for them or were spread too thin to be able to do a thing for them. So I don't know, but that's pretty sad when it gets to that point. So I certainly will hope that Bill's doing okay and that he's not alone trying to keep an eye on all of this. Okay, anybody else have some ideas, thoughts, encouraging words?
Well, the National Guard is on Hollywood Boulevard tonight.
Ah, didn't know that. Okay, yeah. Very good.
Yeah, that's something.
Thank you.
I heard on the news tonight, too, that San Diego has 200 National Guards that are coming in here. They didn't say when, but they're coming in here. And 100 are going to La Mesa, where they burnt down the banks and then another 100 into the city of San Diego.
Wow. They burnt down banks too? That makes a lot of sense. Good grief.
Yeah, that's why they started the curfews in just certain areas. La Mesa, Poway, Santee, very remote communities. So it must have something to do with the minority groups that are in those areas.
There's not many minorities in Poway, so I don't know what that's about. But they also moved from Poway to Rancho Bernardo too yesterday.
They called them unincorporated areas, whatever that means.
Well, Poway is its own city. It's not the city of San Diego, so it is incorporated because of its own city. So I don't understand that.
We're incorporated too. It's just like you're right out of the city limits, basically. They call that unincorporated so that they can, enact other laws on you.
That's probably why they have the sheriff in Poway too instead of the police.
Yeah, we're unincorporated, so they have us in circles whenever we want to get something done because we're quote unquote unincorporated.
Well, maybe that's a good thing.
Possibly, except for when you want to get, some kind of information, then it's like, well, go here. Oh, go to them. Oh, go to them. So it's a good bad.
Yeah, it's kind of like a faction war. It's pretty obvious. Everybody knows who these Antifa groups are funded and sponsored by. If you don't know, it's the Rothschilds, Soros groups, Clintons. I'm sure Obama's in on it somewhere along the line. And from what I heard, him and the Clintons are being put in front of Congress or something tomorrow. Funny, it starts on the same day as the UNC that Demi mentioned. So again, it's like a faction war, and it depends on who's going to. They're definitely doing this so that Trump doesn't get elected. That's another major part of all this. So it's these deep state criminals and groups that are sponsoring these paid protesters. And I guess it's a matter of with Trump putting the military, I guess you could say the National Guard is the military. So without the use of military equipment, which is supposedly spread out all over the country, I've seen a lot of pictures of it. Without that rolling out, if they just put National Guard troops in the streets by way of Trump's orders, it sounds like these two factions are going at it. And we'll see if the National Guard actually puts a stop to these paid protesters and allows the peaceful protest to continue.
I sure hope that, because what we don't want is to see them suspend our right to protest. That's for sure. Hey, Philip. Hello. How are you doing? How are things in your neighborhood?
Hi there.
Philip. Oh, there you are. You got on mute, Philip.
Yeah, okay, so I'm here. So I went out for a walk. I was thinking it was Tuesday, and left my phone at home, like I'm done with this thing for a while. and loved it out there. And I came home and was like looking on my phone again. It's like, what? This is Wednesday. It's 8:00. Oh my God. So, hi there.
Hi. How are things on your street and in your area?
In my area is okay. I'm in San Francisco. I hear there's been protests downtown, et cetera, like that. So, I'm having to do I had to be home by 8, et cetera. So there were still a few stragglers in the park, even behind me. So, yesterday people were refusing to leave, et cetera. They were still out there and partying and stuff. So, today they're getting out of there, I guess. So, let's see. I guess so. Since I've got the floor, I posted something earlier today on in our group, I believe. So, or I will. I have to check. I get lost between the feeds. So, where there was a guy put out a video with it's a 2-minute video. You should watch it. It's A Plain Truth for You, and he's put out a lot of good stuff. But this was the feed from the SpaceX NASA rocket that went off on Saturday, et cetera. So I took time out to watch that launch, et cetera, because another group, the Schiller Institute, was really touting this, et cetera. Like it's a great thing. We're going back into space and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, so, but of course, from the stuff that Thomas has put out, we've had anti-gravity since 1954, really. So, it's just like, don't need these stupid rockets, et cetera. So you should watch it, because this guy really looked at the feed, and I was looking at it I was just in my mind, there's something wrong with this. There's something wrong with this. There's something wrong with this. Well, he found it, and he shows where there's out in space, there's a mouse comes on the rocket, and it's moving around. There's a mouse out there on the thing. And
are you talking about the mouse is outside or inside?
Outside.
Outside.
Outside, walking around on the rocket.
I caught a
studio. It's another pretending?
Yeah, apparently.
I don't know if it's a mouse, but it's something weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
blurry. It shouldn't be. The video shouldn't be this blurry. Like we have like high definition cameras now, and then they put out this blurry video. Like they're NASA. Like it's NASA, SpaceX. Why is it always so blurry? It makes me so frustrated.
Right. So, that, and then I'll post in here, I guess. I don't think I posted this online yet on Facebook or whatever yet, but there's a black guy that I discovered a couple days ago called Young Pharaoh on YouTube, who's got 250,000 subscribers. And if you can get by all the nigger and kind of some swearing and stuff like that, I mean, he's telling it like it is, and he comes down like he knows everything that's going on, and he's basically telling them, look, Trump is really trying to save the country right now. Wake up. It's like, I'm not for him as a white guy, but I'm not going to vote for the damn Clintons and blah, blah, blah. You'd have to watch it. It's absolutely amazing. I felt like a breath of fresh air after it. There's and he's in the black community. He's talking to the black community, to wake up. So, and he's getting, and watching the chat feed go by, and he's getting $5, $25, $29, $100 donations keep popping up, throughout. So he's making bucks too, but he's really telling the truth. So, really amazing. So, and he's black, and the thing is, I highly recommend watching it. He's got feeds that show the cops getting bricks out of the trunk of their cop car and unloading bricks, and he's got a feed of exactly the same thing going on, where a cop had his knee on someone, and et cetera, and it incited the people in Spain, and on the same day. It's all on the same day. And also another feed from France, where they did the same thing in multiple countries to get everybody upset and rioting and out on the streets. So it's not just here. It's not just the U.S.
Yeah, and also in Argentina, the police, I saw yesterday, the police went into a house and mistreated everybody for no reason. So in Argentina, they're in cahoot with all these guys too. The bad guys. So.
Yeah, well, his conclusion was that the mayors are in cahoots with the cops, et cetera, and that they're, not that all cops are bad, he says, but there's a contingent, and there's Soros money and all of this stuff, and they're kind of owned. I guess Thomas calls them Citadel, et cetera, but they're kind of hired goons for these other things. So he's like really laying it out. Totally brilliant. I wish I could talk like that. So anyway, I recommend watching it. I'm going to post it in our chat, the link, and then into the group later, I guess. I just have a hard time getting on Facebook these days, especially. So with watching my friends be so stupid.
That's hard.
And carried off with this stuff. So, and the vicious things they say about Trump. So they just went bananas when he held up a Bible in front of that church. So
yeah, they lied. The news lied about him tear gassing people. They did nothing of the kind. They didn't use tear gas. I think they used some kind of a spray, like a pepper spray type of thing, but not tear gas by any means. But he had a right to go out there. I mean, I thought that was important. He was trying to show a peaceful gesture there. That's all. That's all. Just a peaceful gesture. We don't want people burning churches.
He can't win. They're either accusing him of hiding out in the bunkers, or if he goes out in public, there's something else wrong with that. So.
Well, I don't think he's. Yeah. I've been kind of disappointed with what he's been doing personally, because he shows no sign of empathy for people. I mean, still, as much as we like him, as much as he seems like he's doing good things, he only supports the police. He tweets about like, police, you gotta get, stay strong, police. It's like, well, they're the ones doing. They're the ones doing it. It's all over the news. So in that way, I'm kind of like, well, he's not really acknowledging, one part of it, and he has to do that. So I'm not happy, personally, but, I think nobody is, fit to lead that's up there right now. That's up in the Oval Office or anywhere, but, it's all.
I have to agree with you, Sean. What doesn't make sense is, we've all been told, and we all know that the Rothschilds fund and basically own the U.S. military. So for Trump to come out this morning and say he's going to put National Guard troops to start with on the streets, is the National Guard not the U.S. military?
Yeah, and let's remember that guy, Jared Kushner, or whatever, Jared Kushner, he is right in Trump's ear. Like, there's photos of him, right there, and he looks like the most evil person I've ever seen in my life. And, Thomas talks about Kushner like he is like the evilest person ever, So we can't really trust there's so many voices, that's going into Trump's ears. We can't really depend on him to make the right choice, And also, I don't know, not going to trust him.
Well, I mean, we've got a three-way going on, don't we? We've got the Black Sun and the Rothschilds having their way at each other. So if the Black Sun is pulling the rioting off, I'm not sure it is.
Yeah.
So you put the Rothschild army out into the street to oppose the Black Sun. And the fact is that Trump, the amount of a government he really controls is probably minuscule. It always has been. But the other force is also Kim, because Kim is talking to him directly. And so we've got the Black Sun versus the Rothschilds versus all of us, and then Kim versus them. And, I've kind of lost track of who's on whose side, except that if we got National Guard to stop the looting, then we got the Rothschilds out there. Otherwise, we're back to the Black Sun. So if the United News Channel, and I'm just hoping they just, I'm very interested in this, and I might even try to throw my hat in that ring too, because, boy, do we need information. And they may just come out and have some really interesting stuff. I mean, I hope so. And I know that to me, it's a very good development because there isn't any news. Even the alt media, as Thomas says, is all co-opted. The mainstream media is we were talking on Monday and over the weekend. I mean, the mainstream media is actually supporting and encouraging the riots. It's amazing. I was watching this stuff and I couldn't believe it. So we've got a pretty sick puppy on our hands here, and so I'm really hoping that. And Trump has got every kind of string attached to him, and he's trying to manipulate all the strings as well. And that's been the case straight from the start. So, and I was complaining about the council and this blah, 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 but, I think that we are, in the long run, we're going to make it. And that I'm hoping that what will start happening is when this UNC comes out, that they will be able to give some really, the source of their intel is at the highest level, Kim 64.
Yeah.
And so, all the BS that we get from the mainstream media, they're now following Thomas, as he says, because they don't have the intel that he's giving everybody else. So this, we're in, I think, probably the worst part of it right now. And I hope that we, And so, where does your head stop spinning? I don't know if it does. So it's really tough. It's really tough. So
I wish we could just skip this part. I wish.
No, we can't get through this. It's like you're in the middle of surgery. We only get past this part.
Yeah.
Stay on the job, Doc. Stay on the job. Yeah. Get that heartstone up, and you'll get through it. But boy,
this whole thing.
It's really something. It's driving me nuts.
I'm good. Okay, Kimberly.
Oh, Kim, yes.
Kim is back. How is the garden growing?
It was very hot. I was like running around. So I had a lot of manipulation to do because I had to everything is decharging at a rapid rate. It might be me decharging my equipment. I don't know. But all the best I could do is, I don't know if you guys can see. This is my iPad. I can barely get it up to 5%. So I created a movie really quick. Hang on. But there's no sound. I couldn't edit anything. You guys see that?
Wow.
So this is at my house. Is it moving?
Yeah, what are they?
Those are, what's it doing? Oh, okay. These are squash. This is at their house. So that was all empty dirt before. This is everything they've grown right here. All this. They've put boxes, they've put their fences up.
Wow.
And this is people who knew nothing. They started with nothing, and now they have this.
Wow, that's awesome.
That is awesome. Definitely beautiful.
How long you been doing that? When did they start to do
We just started planting when the season started. So this is all their melons. They're super excited. See that? So they started when we did plant season. Oh yeah, I think that's mine. That's mine. Now you're seeing some of mine. So that's that's my inner garden. And those are berries that I brought from sticks. Remember how I talk about making them from sticks, like 7-inch sticks? And now they're full berry bushes. So these are all thornless blackberries. This is my inner. This is onions and some strawberry. Oh, that's lettuce. Some lettuce. I have more.
Oh, it's delicious.
Yes.
That's amazing. But when did you start? March?
I started in a hothouse, and there's more. All of this is just stuff. That's strawberries. They're having a hard time right there. I've covered them. These are beets right here on the outside, and they're actually just started. Put them in a couple of weeks ago, and they're already that big. These are garlic boxes that I'm harvesting. What I was doing today, and those are cantaloupes. Those are French melons right there, and that is tomatoes. Those are all my tomatoes. I have 40.
Oh, that's so good.
Ground plant bags right there. And those are grape. That's a grape arbor. It has 15 very specific varieties, and that's a sunshot. I don't know what I'm doing there. Don't know what happened. Sorry, folks. That's my 4-in-1 fruit salad tree that I talked about in the beginning. Now look at it. It's huge. And each branch has something different. That's all the basil. I just threw it on the ground. Look at it. There's a 100-foot line of basil. And these are that's the baby orchard now. You can see everything grew up.
You have green thumb, big green thumb.
I love them. Yeah. I love them, but they have a green thumb too now, right? And they didn't. Now this is why I say anyone can do it. Anyone. This is on their side. So let's see. Yeah. So those are French melons, and those are bags. Those are above ground. That's melons. More melons.
Amazing.
They're about that one plot that we saw in the beginning. That's all their zucchini. And they've trellised everything. They've brought everything up. That's all the squash and the stuff. That's their melons. They have giant melons actually growing right now. Theirs are probably, that's it. Can you see them?
Yeah.
So that stuff all should be edible probably within the next month and a half.
Are you supposed to turn melons so they don't get lopsided or something?
I always do.
Some trick to the growing watermelon?
Their lettuce is taking a hit, so they came to me, and I was like, what do you think we're going to do? And they went back and they found out you could use beer. You could put beer in that was a really good shot. It's just amazing. Look at that. They did not do anything at all. And now they could do all kinds of stuff. I just love it. I just literally love it. I was hoping I got a picture of their pumpkins. That's their tomatoes. That's their whole section with their pumpkins.
Yeah, I remember it was just an empty field or empty grass.
It was an empty field, yes. The whole
really looked boring.
Empty. And now, yeah, and that's the backside of my shot of my house. So I think that's the beginning. Oh, that's a cucumber. I think I've already harvested 3 times for cucumbers already. And I think I've harvested, oh my gosh, with the zucchini, well, it's just a nonstop harvest. Literally, I'm getting between, if I pick them small, 7 to 13 inch zucchinis. So, and they're doing the same thing. And literally, I could not be more pleased. That is an amazing thing they're doing. And they're doing things I didn't tell them. Like they found out they could use beer to get slugs. I was like, I use diatomaceous earth because I don't want to see them die. I mean, they're gonna die, but they're gonna go somewhere else and do it. With the beer, they actually come up into the lid where you pour it or a plate, and they drink it because they love it, and they just die right there. I'm like, I don't like that. So I was like, but they could do whatever they want. Because I was like, yes, that your lettuce right now is getting tore apart by slugs. So that's the project. It's doing really well. So probably what I want to do next time is grab a couple of them and have them come on. And they said they would. So that we can get them and get their perspective, what it was like. And I'm sure they're going to say they were overwhelmed. Because at first, a couple times,
there was quite a few hitches with the fact that they didn't understand about watering. They didn't know how important it was. They just knew you could get some water out there. And I was like, no, you have to do it every day. It was funny because I was like, it just seemed really self-explanatory. But I'm an experienced gardener. They literally didn't know. So we went through all that and I explained it multiple times, and finally they got it. When they saw things shriveling up, I was like, see, that's what happens. You just have to get the water out there. And when they did, and then they just took off. You can see the plants are huge. And that's all organic heirloom, every bit of it. So, which is hard to grow. It's not easy to grow organic because you're not using any kind of chemicals or pesticides. So what we use for the trees, for like any fungicides or whatever we use, it's copper, literally copper. So you can use any of that stuff right up to the day of eating. So everything that we're using is stuff that they're doing right there pretty much.
So wait, back
did
up
you
to
put
the,
little pieces of copper, or do you like run a wire?
No, I go get it. It's copper. It's a liquefied form of copper. It's blue. It's really weird. It looks like a ultramarine blue. And it's called copper fungicide. And you can spray it on any plants. It's really good to cure blights, rots. Whenever you have plants and the rain comes down and then the sun comes back out, if you don't spray your stuff with copper, you're probably going to get a blight. So that happened several times, and their peach got blight. But it was old. I was like, it probably had blight anyway. I mean, we just found it. Remember, out of the middle of nowhere? I was like, is that a peach tree? It's got thousands of peaches on it now. They're so ecstatic. So I showed him how to prop it up, and we trimmed it again. And I bought a pH meter so we can test the pH. It's a meter. You stick it in the ground. It tells you moisture, if it's too moist, because you can be tricked. We have what's called river loam here, and it's kind of clay-like, but it holds all the minerals. And so the first couple inches, it looks like it's dry, and then you go down where the roots are, and it's wet. So you could literally kill your plants by overwatering. So we just stick the meter in the ground. I'm like, what does it say? And I make them do it, and then they get it. They're like, oh, we could do this. I'm like, yeah. Would you have watered? And they're like, yes. Yes, I would have. I go, well, right. And then I teach them how to look at the leaves, look at the bark. Does it need this? They're doing really great. You can see they're doing really great. So,
Kimberly, what does the copper fungicide do?
It's called copper fungicide. It's by Bonide, Bonide. You can pick it up at Ace. You could pretty much pick it up anywhere.
And that does what again?
It kills disease. It kills them on roses. It kills them. There's a list of all the plants, all the fruits, all the vegetables, all the trees. So on ornamental plants, house plants. I wouldn't put it in house plants because you're bringing it inside.
Right.
She sprayed it outside and then brought it inside. It's one of my most favorite things to use. And then I use for bugs, I use neem oil. It's NEEM oil.
Yeah, I know about neem oil. It's out of stock everywhere. Because I was going to try that because
I'll tell you where it's in stock if you don't mind going.
Where?
Go to the weed grower houses. You know, like your ag marts.
Oh.
Those guys always have it.
Weed growers.
Pot growers. The guys who supply the pot growers, they always have neem oil. It's one of their number one products.
Okay. Well, you gave me a lot of good stuff here because we're having bug problems in our organic garden that we have.
Oh. Yeah, I don't really have any bug problems. I don't. I don't.
I saw by your garden. Yeah, you guys.
They have some bug problems on their lettuce. If you could see the holes, and that's bugs. But we're taking care of that now. So, I mean, you could spread food grade diatomaceous earth around
we have that already. It doesn't.
You'll stop all the ants. There is a surefire method of killing ants, and I don't use it because it can also harm animals. It's borax. You know the.
Yeah, I'm not going to want to harm animals either.
Because if cats want to lick it, or if puppies or raccoons or opossums or anyone comes up and licks it, they're going to die. But ants will take it back in its form, and it kills the entire nest. So we have massive satellite colonies of ants out here. I just deal with it. I just make a move. I just put water in their hole and say, go somewhere else. And I just don't have issues with them. If you stand on top of them, yeah, they're probably going to bite you, but I just deal with the animals I have, wasps, whatever. I just don't kill them.
Right. Well, thanks for that. I'm going to get some of that stuff. Thanks.
It's good. It's what I use.
Cool. Thanks.
Anybody have any questions?
Philip.
No, it's just you did a great job. You're a master.
Oh, wow. I don't know, Bob. But you know what I found out? My great-grandma owned a nursery.
Wow.
She owned a nursery. And so I have this book. I'll show you just a second. This is the only book I use. This is from my great-grandma from the nursery. Look at it's so old. It's so old. And I learned in this book that it's ancient. It's like in the early 1900s.
You should scan that book.
I know. I'm afraid if something bad happens to it. I need to go get it redone. So I learned that almonds and peaches are the same family.
Oh.
I had no clue. Because I have.
That's interesting because the nut of the peach looks like an almond.
Yes, exactly. And they come looking just like each other when they're babies. And then you trim them exactly the same, open center. And I thought, well, I'm going to have a hard time because I have an almond orchard right on the other side of the walnuts. And so if they get disease, it could shift all that right over to my baby peaches. So I'm constantly, I think every 7 to 10 days, I can put copper on my plants, and I do. I just do. It's like I just don't want any disease blowing in. And it's organic, and it's okay to do that. You could spray, if you plant backyard peach trees or any kind of a fruit tree, you could spray all that stuff with that copper.
How does that copper stuff wash off of the peaches? I mean, how do you know you're getting it all off?
It's mostly for the leaves. If you keep up with the leaves when it's young, so these guys, I took all their fruit off because I'm trying to not have them grow fruit for 3 years.
Oh, okay. So you're not just spraying with fruit. Okay.
So it's okay. Right. And literally, you can spray with it. It's okay to go on the fruit. You can literally spray this and pick it at the end of the day. It's not, I mean, you'd wash it, of course, but you can still do that. Neem oil, I think you have to do it. You could neem oil your stuff, and it's like you need to give it like 24 hours or something like the day before. I can't really remember, but when I usually just like neem oil. And I haven't even seen any of those nasty tomato worms. Have you seen those green ones with the hooks?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen because I spaced my tomato plants out. I decided this year not to grow them too close. I put them far apart, and they can't travel because they like to travel from plant to plant.
Ah.
Don't have them. I just don't have them.
What's the reason you don't want the almonds to grow for 3 years to bear fruit, or the peaches?
I don't have any fruit growing for 3 years so that the plant can build strong limbs and roots.
Okay.
Because if it's trying to put on fruit, it takes away from the growth. So it's like a vegetative state. Any plant will be vegetative first, which means all the big branches go out and then the leaves come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fruit, you'll have gotten blossoms, and that will come out. Wherever the bees pollinated, you should start to get fruit. When they're babies, that is way too much to ask for them. They'll do it, but it's not good for them to do that. So you just strip it. Even grapes, it's sad because you're like looking at it going, oh my gosh. And you just take it right off.
For all the trees, everything.
Plant for it. It will grow really deep roots because it can now focus on not doing fruit. I'm only doing roots.
I see.
And building my branches. And that's enough.
So you do that for everything basically. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
I saw some grapes my husband didn't get. I was like, I think he wanted to see what they look like. I was like, no, because he usually takes care of the grapes. I thought, you sneaked that one from me. It was behind a huge leaf, and I'm like, what? Because he was supposed to go through and take it. Because it's hard for me to do it. I don't like to do it. I usually give him that task. I'm like, can you go pull those? Because I don't really want to do that. It was hard. I take the peaches off the baby peach tree, but it's for its best. It's the best thing to do, and then it's really healthy. So, any other questions?
Yeah, I have actually 2 almond trees, so I didn't know that. So when you see a little almond popping, you just pull it out like
How
that?
tall is it? How tall is it?
Like 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah, pull them. Yep. So
And then also
feet, it's probably
cherries.
Is it like a year and a half?
Cherries.
Cherries, pull it all. I know it's not fun. It's not.
So when you pull all this off, does that means that fruit is not ready to eat anyway, and you're going to trash it or recompost it?
I compost it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just tell it. I tell the plant, this is getting your best benefit. I know this is your baby, and I know that you have the will to self-create yourself again, but this isn't what's good for you right now. It's not what's good for me either. That's the honest truth. I can't get decent fruit if you're too busy trying to put fruit on when you should be putting roots in, especially a tree, because it could just topple, right? If it can't keep roots down the very first year or two, you're going to have epic failure later because it can't suck water up. Trees need to establish big, long, deep roots. The tree that you guys have seen me take pictures of in the front, that giant walnut tree, those roots go all the way out into my neighbor's orchard, halfway out, he said.
Wow.
It's a 110-year-old tree, and the roots are way, way, way out there. So I was like, well, I'm not cutting my tree down. He's like, no, because it's an open pollinator for his English walnut trees. Because we don't eat black walnuts, because they're those little, they're hard as you crush them, you can't even get the meat out. And the meat's like those little measly bits, but the English walnuts are good. They're those big ones. So my tree pollinates half of his orchard, he said. So I know. A branch just fell down this morning when the wind came because it's so old. I'm like, no, just hang on. Don't do this. And it fell down, and I picked it up. And so now I'm actually going to start letting maybe 4 or 5 of the black walnut trees grow because I was pulling everything because I didn't want them in competition with these big guys. I just don't. But now I'm like, well, if these guys are that old and they're starting to drop branches, it's not a great thing. I will be sad. I will be so sad. But it's like, okay, I better start planting something else. You kind of have to do that. So, and I actually rescued, and I will show you guys, I think next week, 12 rows of Sharon plants. They're called Rose, R-O-S-E of Sharon. They're beautiful. My mom was just going to pull everything up. I'm like, no, I can save that. And I think I just saved and transplanted 60 geraniums. So,
Kim, do you pull the fruit when it's a blossom, or do you at any time?
No, you can wait for it to become a fruit. Let it have the blossom, and then when it gets to be the fruit, then just pull it. It won't put anything else out. Then it's done, and it's like, okay, I don't have fruit. But in June, almost all crops like almonds or walnuts, they'll what they call it's called a June drop, and they will automatically, because the trees are so heavy with fruit, nuts, they will literally drop what they feel necessary so that they can move forward. Because their goal is to create. And if they get too stressed out or they just feel like it's too much, you'll go out one day and half the tree will just be on the ground. People will freak out. It's like, no, it's called June drop. They literally do that. They just go, I can't handle this. They just drop it right to the ground. Anything else?
Kim?
Yes.
We got a question about neem oil.
Yes.
We just bought a bottle last weekend, and we looked at the ingredients, and it says like 0.9% is neem oil, and the other ingredients are 99.1%, but they don't say what the other ingredients are. Is that?
Oh yeah, they should have gave you a list. Did it say inert?
No.
Was the active ingredient should have been the neem oil, right?
Yeah, the active ingredients.
And then they just didn't bother to list what else was in it?
Yeah. It's a Monterey is the brand name.
Oh, I don't know it. Where did you buy it from?
We bought it from a nursery in Pasadena. $17 for a bottle. And
yeah, nurseries are pretty good. They're usually pretty good with that stuff. See, I have to give you guys some good advice right now. If you want the best organic fertilizers and things, go to the pot grower shop. I know it seems weird, but they also cater to gardeners. It literally, when you step in, you'll just go, I was going to Ag Mart. I thought it was for gardeners. For 3 years, I went there. I didn't know it was for pot growers. And one day I looked up and I went, well, what's that? And he just kind of looked at me. I was like, is that for pot? And he's all, well, yeah. I go, well, wait a minute. I thought this was for vegetables. He's like, honey, you could use it on anything. He's like, did you realize where you were? I went, I didn't have a clue. I didn't know. I go, okay, whatever. But it's a great place because you can buy things in bulk. Like I can get like blood meal and bone meal because that's all organic. For bone meal's got some protein, nitrogen, and phosphorus for bulbs. So like onions, garlic, roses, strawberries, berries, any of your berries, they like a lot of phosphorus. So in order to get that bumped up, in tomatoes like calcium, which they can usually get in your groundwater. If you have a well, they get a lot of that. But you kind of have to know when to put that. See, I need to make a video for people, don't I?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm afraid you put.
And yours all kinds of stuff you can use. I'm making this right now, you guys. Look at it. So this, don't laugh, it really works. So this is just water with banana peels and a little bit of organic coffee ground in it. So you're going to soak this for a couple days. This is for potassium. So when the tomatoes start to get big, you can put this on them, and it will instantly give them potassium. So this is, and that's just with your banana peel. Instead of going to the store and buying something, you could do that. Or crack up your eggshells. Put them in your coffee grinder. Dry them out and put them in your coffee grinder, and then add 2 tablespoons, 2 teaspoons, whatever you want, to your tomatoes. You'll never have a disease in them. It boosts their immune system and gives them all the calcium they could possibly want. And Epsom salts for your tomatoes. So, has anyone started a garden? Does you guys have one?
Yeah, I'm starting. I'm doing raised bed gardening and stuff like that.
Good.
Yeah, I'm building garden beds, all different types. Did you plant right into the ground there, or did you amend the soil in some way?
We did both. So on my side, because my grandfather had a construction company here, they use trucks and they pack the ground. Like we have some of the best growing soil in the world right here, but I can't really use a lot of it. There's only one section I can use because he packed it down. On their side, we can dig all over. We can dig like gophers anywhere we want. So their stuff, most of it went into ground. Some of it, because they were concerned about gophers, went into boxes. All that back patch you saw, that was all in ground. We dropped that straight into the ground. And we did it only with perlite. So perlite, when you get your potting soil from the store, you guys, you know those little popcorn white things? Like, that's called perlite. You can get vermiculite or perlite, and what that does is it retains water. It keeps the soil from compacting, and it retains water. So you don't have to use as much water. So we just put a bunch of that in the holes so it could actually give the plants the ability to, it would hold the water and they could take it when they want to. So they didn't have to, I did that so they didn't have to water as much because I knew they were brand new. So.
Were you using the square foot method for planting? Wow.
Yes. On some of the boxes, not all the boxes. My husband likes to make ginormous boxes. So some of those are really big, but those are the ones I usually like to put lettuce in. And when I pull the garlic, I'm going to put beets and carrots in.
What did you use as the ground eggshells? Did you say something else besides that to go with it?
Yeah, you can grind the eggshells. When you put a tomato plant, when you go to put a tomato plant in the ground, or if you're going to put it in a container, 2 tablespoons. So I just collect all my eggshells and I dry them. And then I put them in a coffee grinder, and it grinds them up into a powder, which you'd go to the store and buy calcium in a powder, and it'd be expensive. Or do that, eggshells. And you put 2 tablespoons in the bottom of the hole, and then you put 2 tablespoons Epsom salts with no
Epsom salts.
Yeah, lavender. Epsom salts has magnesium, so it'd be like a K-mag. To uptake potassium and magnesium.
Gotcha.
Calcium. Tomato plants really need a lot of calcium.
Okay. Cool.
If you do that, you won't get, you know when you ever picked up a tomato and it had a nasty, at the end, the bottom of the tomato was like a weird, greenish, weird thing, like a rot? It's called blotted rot. That's because it didn't uptake its calcium that it needed to do. And then it just got sick. It's a sick plant.
Oh, gosh.
And it's not good. And that's the easy way to fix it.
Okay.
If you see a tomato plant start to turn yellow, just dump some, you can put kelp on it to green it, or you can put magnesium on it.
Okay.
Kelp is great.
Or magnesium.
That could be also the reason a lemon plant has yellow leaves.
A lemon tree?
Yeah.
A lot of them are having yellow leaves right now because of the water. It was a weird rain, Estella. So lemon trees are funny. They need the old established trees need about 10 to 15 gallons a week. I have a 70-year-old tree, and it needs much less. So when there's too much rain, it doesn't like that. So that's the weird thing about those trees. If the plant leaves are yellow, it could be too much water or not enough water. That's it.
Okay.
No, you just have to get, because I was like, give it magnesium. That wasn't it. I tried giving it nitrogen. That wasn't it. I could not control the amount of the rain that was coming down unless you just put a plastic sheet around the base of it and cover it. Those guys send roots out. So I was like, stop drinking the water. And when we had another couple sunny days in a row, the leaves stopped turning yellow and it greened back up. They'll green themselves back up again. So try that. You know what? If you have trees, Estella, go to Home Depot and grab it's called Rapid Test. It's a actual meter, and you can stick it in the ground for moisture meter, and it will tell you. It just says wet, moist, or dry. Don't let it get into dry. Somewhere around between dry and moist, water your tree, and
okay.
It's like fail safe.
Yeah, we put, they're baby trees. They're probably like 2 years old and, they're not very strong. So
they're going to get strong. Yeah, you can overwater them and not be knowing it. That's what I had started to do. And then I went and got the meter because I kept saying, this isn't right. This doesn't feel right. And it wasn't because the dirt was tricking me. And I was trying to look at the leaves going, but that's not what you're telling me. So what's going on here? And then it was because the down low roots were absorbing too much water, and I didn't go down far enough. With just a finger test, you're not going to see that. So,
okay, another question. So I put seeds in the little cups. I have a little, it's a warm path for the seeds, and then when they got a little bit like a half an inch, I put it in a little cup with soil, but they die. So we have some little tomatoes we went and we bought, ready from the store. But can you still start from seed at this moment?
You have a greenhouse?
He's working on that. He needs to level the.
You know what? It's so warm out right now. The thing about seed starting is if you want the continuity, even in summer, you have to keep them. They need extra light. So they need, when they're tiny seeds and you're starting about 16 to 18 hours of continuous light. And they need heat from the bottom. So if you have like a heating pad, just put the tray off the heating pad.
And then with the light too?
And then just a light source, yeah.
Okay.
And then start them again. Just start them again. I've had tomatoes go all the way up into November and December.
Okay. And the lettuce and all that stuff is...
Go ahead. I just started another batch a couple days ago.
And you started also on a pad?
So every 2 weeks you can sow lettuce and cucumbers.
But you put it straight on the soil or on the
direct
pad?
Seed. Yep, direct seed. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. That sounds good.
Yes, and then keep it moist when they're little, and you just transplant them in or whatever. If you're gonna direct seed it, just keep them moist so that they don't dry out. If they dry out, then they won't germinate properly.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. We got weird weather, too hot, too cold, too hot.
Yes. A lot of stuff didn't make it very well. I wanted to show Dawn and you guys something because you think I'm so good at the planting. Well, Philip, I tried to do what you said. Remember, I had a very bad experience? Well, I'm still having a very bad experience. I have no freaking clue, guys. This was Debbie planted hers. Nothing. Hardly nothing. I'm like, what the heck? And then I got the jar like Philip had. Just a little bit better. Just a little bit better. I think
it's the jar.
I think there's too many, right, Philip? No.
No, not necessarily. It's just, so I'm still putting together a pamphlet or whatever about this. And,
Send me a video.
so I've gone on, New Leaf. Let me look it up. A site, and, it's just the quality of the seeds, whether they're, fresh, whether they're, meant for sprouting.
Right.
Or not,
I'll show you. You can take a look. These are the seeds that I use. They're called Handy Pantry Sprouting Seeds, sunflower. They're black oil organic sprouting seeds. It comes like this. I'm wondering if they came, which they did come through the mail, if they were irradiated. That's what I'm wondering.
Okay, no, that looks like the company that I'm looking to buy from.
Yeah, this is a good company. They have all excellent ratings. So it's either they maybe got irradiated because I just got them last winter, or I'm not doing something right. And I'm like, God only knows. I don't want to feel that's the answer, but it could be the answer. So whatever you find out, if you could just bring that project back here, I will love to listen to what you have to say, because I can't do it right now. I can't do it. So.
Well, Kimberly, I grew seeds. Kimberly, I grew seeds in, it was peat moss and coir, COIR. It was a mixture, and then I just sprinkled it through there, made sure everything was wet when I started, and then sprayed it every day or whatever needed to be done.
Did you have enough?
They grew like crazy.
But look at Demi's. I'm all whining. Now I'm whining. Demi's came out in plastic bottles.
Okay, well, Philip hasn't seen this, and so Philip, thanks to you, I had some mung beans from last August, and so here's the result after a week, and this is what I got.
Oh my gosh!
So if you can see, okay, now what I had some problems too, Kim, because what happened is I went online and I did some checking, and what I was doing is I kept them in water, and what they started to do was drown. So what you have to do is you put them in water for the first 8 to 12 hours when they start to sprout a little. And then what you do is you don't allow them to be completely submerged, and I did. And then I had 2 batches. One I didn't and one I did. And it was kind of an accident that I didn't. So it was a good accident. Yeah. And so that what you just saw is the one they were partly submerged, but there was still something poking above the surface, and otherwise they drowned. The other batch I didn't show you, but that's pretty lame. In fact, it's really lame. So you might want to try just regulating the water, and then you're supposed to rinse them twice a day, morning and night, and but you don't let them be submerged so they'll drown.
That's probably I'm going to say that's where the problem is, because they had about that much water in them. I thought, let's just.
Oh yeah, I thought water. Well, that's what they need. Not after a while they don't.
Well, then I'm gonna have to do it again. I'll have to get this right, because that's just beautiful. When I look at you guys' mung beans, I'm like, I want those, right?
Well, I want those. Two things. The mung beans have a much better germination rate, etc. So all of my mung beans germinate. I tried the sunflower seeds that I had this week, and less than half germinated, etc. But the other part, and when I read the reviews for the black oil bean or things last night on the site with looks the same bag as what you're holding up. The reviews said several reviews said that it didn't have a great germination rate for those.
Oh, I want that to be the answer. Yes.
Yeah. So and then those come with the hulls.
Yes.
It's like, well, I'm gonna have to deal with the hulls and get rid of those. Right. Like, nah, I don't want that.
Right.
So I'm not gonna buy those. But I did try the raw sunflower seeds hulled, etc., and I got like maybe a third of them. Very weakly started putting out sprouts, but it didn't go well.
So the mung beans are maybe the best.
Mung beans are the best so far. I tried my garbanzo beans this week from from Rainbow Foods, and they're organic and, all of that. And, they all germinated, but they barely put out any sprouts. It was just not really working. So
Right.
it just looks like I'm just gonna cook those.
Right.
But what Demi was saying was absolutely right. It's like you soak them for 6 to 12 hours, something like that, covered in water, and then you drain it, and then every twice a day you go and rinse them, with fresh clean water, and then drain them off. So they're damp, they're kept wet, but not sitting in it.
Right.
Et cetera. And then that helps keep it clean if anything, bacteria or anything is growing on it. So just rinse them, well, maybe 3 times a day. You could rinse them 3 times a day. It doesn't matter, but don't leave them sitting in water.
That's probably what happened then. Yeah.
And I put a damp cloth over it too. That helps.
Yeah, that'd be great too. Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a great idea.
But don't once it starts to sprout, you don't want to put a tight lid on it or something either. So need some air circulation, whatever. But
I'm gonna try it again then. I'm gonna go give these sprouts to the birds. I was gonna toss them. Have at it. I'm gonna go get some mung beans because I want some success here. Like I've tried this so many times now with these same seeds though. I haven't moved to anything different. So I'll try it again. I'll do it again.
Well, I've got 25 pounds of them, so if you want, I can send you a pound.
How many?
Well, actually, I've got 100 pounds. Yeah, last year
I love it. Those are high in protein.
I know, that's why I got them. Last year when all that was going on, I got 100 pounds of mung beans, and then what did I get? I don't know, 200 pounds of rice and 100 pounds of rice and 100 pounds of black beans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just wanted to have some extra food on hand just in case things went south big time. And, I live with there's a lot of people in my neighborhood. So I thought, well, it's better to have that. And it's not that expensive. I mean,
right.
It really isn't.
Well, I did the same thing. I'm either getting ready to take the stuff to the shelter and go donate it, or I'm going to turn it into flour. My stepdad has a hand grind machine.
Yeah.
Put the beans in the top, and it comes in. You can switch to what grind you want, and then you hand grind it like it's old Amish. He bought it from an Amish community back east, or else he attached it to a motor because he doesn't want to grind. I'm the person who wants to do the grinding, so I'm thinking about maybe taking some of it over to the shelter because they can always use it, and then taking the others, like the oatmeal, because I bought like 50 pounds of oats, and then just make it into a flour, and then I can use that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is super.
Thanks for your tips, guys. I'm going to retry it again.
Yeah, good luck.
Where did you buy those? Did you buy organic or regular?
I got these down at the wholesale market by the LA food, where all the food comes into LA, the fresh produce. And it's called Canton Foods in Los Angeles. So if you go to your, wholesale market where all the restaurants get their stuff,
okay.
This came from China, and so they were, well, you see the result. So they did really
okay. That sounds good. Thank you.
My super expensive beans did not work.
Oh, well, Kimberly, next time. Good luck.
I'm just used to everything working. That was a check for me. That's a check because I was like, oh, it doesn't matter. I got these. Well, no, they're not working. So it's either my method or those beans. So I'm going to go get mung beans at the Natural Health and see if that works.
Okay.
All right.
Good luck.
Okay, good luck. I'm going to call on Pam J, and then I'm going to say good night, folks. And stay safe.
I had some garbanzo beans, and they were a couple years old, and so I sprouted them and used them in salads. They don't have to have a long sprout, maybe about half an inch, and they were pretty good in my salads. And
Sounds
so
good.
just one tip. And also I think sesame seeds can be sprouted and, only about an eighth to a quarter inch, sprout on it, and then you're ready to eat it or put it in something.
I could
So
try those too.
just my little contribution.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can sprout almost any of this stuff. We have a sprout person that comes to the farmer's market, and they got into it because their dad had cancer, and they were trying everything naturally. They started doing wheatgrass, and from wheatgrass, they have every fenugreek sprouts, broccoli sprouts, all these sprouts. And Demian was saying, you can, they come to the farmer's market, and they charge like what, $6.50 for a little baggie, and because people don't sprout their own stuff, but you can sprout all of this stuff, on your own. Once we get it down, like you just said, Kim, once we get it down.
I can't wait because I'm getting used to eating my own stuff. So when I have to go to the store, I'm like, ugh. I went to this place. We went out of town, just out of town to Oroville and back, and we were there. And my husband's like, let's eat at this place, and it was a tapas place. And everybody was 6 feet apart, and I was like, oh, I just need to eat. And, excuse me, we went in, and I was so critical because I was like, this place was raved for local sourcing and amazing food, and it came to the table, and I was like, oh, man, I could do this. I could do this. I have to pay how much for this? I was like, I am not happy. My husband's like, can you enjoy the experience? And I'm like, no, I can't because I could have done this right here. I was like, oh, my word, right? You get used to eating your own stuff.
Right.
You go out, you're like, oh, that's not very good, right? It's very good. So, all right, guys, I'm going to head off and go mix up my spray.
All right.
Right, I'm spraying.
Big hugs. Bye-bye.
Oh, wait, Willow!
I just have a question. Vicky, you said that a friend of yours had cancer. I mean, when they were eating sprouted
wheatgrass.
Did it work?
Well, it wasn't my friend. It's this person it's one of the vendors at our local farmers market. And I like those guys, so I talk to them and stuff, and I get some of their things. And so I go, how did you get, because they were young. I'm like, well, what got you into this? And then they told me their story about their dad was really sick. He wound up having cancer, and like they weren't going to go for the mainstream medicine. So they started researching. They started with wheatgrass juice, but then they kept, going down the rabbit hole, and they started learning how to sprout all these different things, fenugreek, broccoli, not broccoli. Do they have broccoli? Yeah, they do broccoli sprouts. But I mean, they have an array of different stuff. Plus they do the grass itself, because my cat eats the wheat, the grass itself, like the little containers. And then they also have like the raw stuff, like how you, right before it starts sprouting, they have that in baggies, like the moonbeams, all of those. They have it like, just like they're soft, and you can throw those in your salad once they've been, I don't know, germinated. I don't know. I'd have to really look into it. But their dad is cancer free now.
Oh.
Yeah, but I don't have the time frame or anything like that. We didn't get into that. I was just like amazed at their story and these are young kids, and they help their dad, and now that's what they do. They do it out of passion, compassion for everybody.
When I read the Anastasia series, I was so severely sick. I had severe chronic fatigue for 29 years, and I could barely function. I was taking essential oils, $100 a month, and it kept me from being drowsy, but it didn't keep me from being sleepy. And I had to use my will just to get through 12 hours in the day. So I went to Whole Foods, and I bought $1,000 worth of pots and dirt because I was in a rental. And I planted 4-inch plants from Whole Foods, and I started to clip and eat. And immediately after I started to clip and eat, the arthritis in my pinky immediately went away. So I made sure I ate 2 or 3 times a day live food, no washing, just clip and eat. And within 2 weeks, I was able to function until 10 o'clock at night, which it was just astounded that I was able to just be tired but not sleepy. And then it took 2.5 years to heal the chronic fatigue that I had for 29 years, just eating live food. So instead of eating a dead salad, I ate live food. And so when the growing season was over, I had to go to a garden center and buy 6-packs, and I clip and eat and clip and eat. And that's how I just healed myself. And I got sick after my brother died. It was an emotional shock. And so every year it just got worse, worse and worse. I tried everything, Chinese medicine, homeopathy. I tried everything, whole years of massages. But what it was is that the food the food just didn't have a life force, and being a vegetarian as well. So, I mean, I just, to this day, even when I traveled all the way to New York and back, Safeway has that, the lettuce, that has a root on it. It's in the refrigerator section, and also wheatgrass. And I just kept it in my car, just kept going to either the health food stores and clip and eat every single day, 2 or 3 times a day. And my arthritis hadn't returned. And I'm pretty healthy for 60 years old. But I was thinking about you, Kim. You are just an incredible teacher. You are just so amazing. And I'm hoping that any of these people that are growing those gardens, if they knew they had any ailments, if they knew if they clip and eat while it has a life force in it, because in the Anastasia books, it stated that a cherry is dead in 2 minutes after you pluck it, and the apple's dead in 1 hour. And if they pluck and ate, at least 3 times a day, I wonder how it would help their health. And it just made sense to me that once you pluck the vegetable, of course the life force is going to go out, right? Anyway, you are amazing.
Thank you. Well, as soon as I get to be able to do sprouts, yeah, that's what I do. I go out and I get breakfast. I pick all the berries and I eat those.
Oh,
that's why I'm waiting for the tomatoes, because that's my favorite.
Oh. I'll just
eat all day long. I'll just be out there crunching on cucumbers and whatever I can pick up. It's whatever's out there. And then when the trees have the nuts, that's all my protein right there. Almonds, walnuts, just amazing. It's great. Scrounge. I just scrounge food.
Don't you just? I mean, I did that.
It's so hot right now. I'm like, I think I'm losing my brain. At one point today, I was like, how long have I been out here? I was those people for 40 days and 40 years in the desert. I was like, it was like time sped up and then it stretched out. It was weird. There's this wave in here now. Remember the one I was talking about? It's here because it was hit me hard. I had to use my tuning fork last night because I started getting chest palpitations, and I know that happens when there's a wave of energy here. So I just tuned and I toned my own self. So I tune and I can tone it back. And then I did it, and immediately I was calm. I was immediately calm, and I could go to sleep. And I slept most of the night. But I was like, yeah, there's definitely there's source energy coming in. It's an amazing amount right now. So it probably was causing half the chaos, honestly, because people are losing their minds out there who maybe normally might not be, but they're not maybe balanced in a good way. And so out of alignment or out of a balancement with that intense of an energy coming in, it's going to be very difficult. So we just have to breathe. Everyone just has to.
That's really important. I think that's the whole state of it. Everyone's scared. Everyone's horrified of what's going on. And, I am too, but it helps talking to people here and, reflecting on this. And, so yeah, I think that's part of the process. So yeah, it's very important to, kind of keep our heads.
Yes, just breathe. We have to do that, and then just take a few to reflect, right?
Yeah.
Be active and not reactive, because this energy is just going to cleanse you out. It's coming. I mean, it's just literally raining down on top of us. It's literally raining like a rain, and that's literally going through your body. So you have any resistance that you're putting out at all, it's just trying to add different information, right? And if you have fear information inside your body, those two frequencies do not go along very well together. So one of them's got to go.
I think they need to go through the dark night of the soul. What these people are going through right now. The dark night of the soul.
Literally. I think Tank said something about that today, didn't he? You guys was on the UN. He's getting ready to drop out. I think the UNC channel's coming tomorrow or something. Kim wrote some articles or something, and they're going to be. And she told him about the wave that I've been talking about. She said yes, there is a wave, and he said she told him 37.5 million people are unsavable.
Wow.
A source at UPU agreed. Everybody agreed. There's just no way to fix these people. Wait
a minute. Are you saying the UPU agreed and they're going to get rid of them?
I think so.
Did he say that?
No, he didn't say that. He said they were all in agreement. So what he thinks is the wave that's coming in is going to help with that. This is what I've been saying the entire time. It's going to be like a frequency shift, right? It's just,
that'd be great.
Do not keep your frequency up. It's going to be really horrible feeling for you. And look at all the people suiciding. Did you guys see the statistics for the suicide?
No.
Well, yes, because they can't handle the frequency that's coming in because they're too fearful. They're so fearful. They've lost their hope, right? They don't have faith in themselves and the fact that this is going to go on, and we want it to go on in a better way. And to do that, you have to just eliminate that fear and believe in yourself, believe in your source, and know that everything's going to be okay. It's literally going to be okay. And so sometimes it's really hard for people if they don't have that information and they just feel fear. That's the part that makes me sad is if we can't get the information to them. Hopefully people can start hearing what Tank and those guys are going to say. I think Kim's coming out making the first interviews and the first articles herself.
Right.
What time is that going to be?
Did Tank talk about this today, Kim?
Yeah, go to
Speak Project?
Speak Project. It's going to be number 452.
Okay. Great, thank you.
I knew he would talk because I usually don't watch unless I know some information I need to know. And today it popped up for me, so I went and listened to it. And Tank gave a great talk. I mean, he literally said he's in contact with Kim every single day. Every single day they're working to get this out. And he talked about the Life Force Task Force. So that's very interesting. So the Life Force Task Force is going to be approved already. She sent it through to Trump, the White House. Trump approved it already. And it's like, it's for the people. So it's people for the people. It's literally going to be like a militia organization that upholds all the executive orders. So here's her enforcement. Because it's hard to do anything for her without enforcement. So she's now getting enforcement. So that's how that goes. This could actually move along fairly quickly now.
That'd be great.
Yes.
52.
So,
truth. She said that she's not pulling punches. It's literally going to be the truth 100% of the time. No secrets from humanity. She said basically everybody needs to know the full truth of everything.
Yes.
So basically by now going like this, they're going to start to hear more from a source, more
from source.
Yeah.
From the source. The person who controls the highest person on the planet with the most control right now, right? She literally controls the trust. So she's literally going to start making articles, and he said she's been busy writing articles. So she's already pre-doing stuff, and she's going to do an interview, and she's going to give an interview, and then she's going to be telling. And anybody can write in. Anybody can write. Anyone could be a citizen journalist. You can do anything you want. It's for the people, by the people. So I'm excited for it. I want to hear all the truth. I don't want riddles. I don't want to go, oh, that's very secret, and we can't know that because maybe it's detrimental to people. I'm like, no, I definitely want to know that. If you think it's detrimental to me, then I really want to know that. Right? Because it's probably going to help me out. It's probably going to help me do some shadow work and help me fix me.
Right.
That's what I'm looking forward to, getting any bits of information that come across as the truth.
Yeah, for us, information is good. You know, like
Yes.
we like it. You know, like for some people it hurts. You know,
it will. It's good, definitely.
You know, that's the first step. You know, the first step to being like you know, wanting to change. You know, is wanting the information. You know, you know, burning for it. You know?
I think it drops tomorrow, you guys. I think
Can't
it's.
wait.
Tomorrow.
Can't wait.
But I can't remember.
It does. That's what they said. Dan Lutz and Tate were talking about it yesterday. It dropped tomorrow.
Because that wave is here today, tonight, and tomorrow, right?
I guess so.
That's what he said. I'm recalling now. He said that wave has been coming. It's here. It's here. So it was here, and I think that's why he was mentioning the 37.5 million people, because they're probably not going to withstand it very well. So we're force right now.
Where's the wave coming from? Is it coming from the council? Is it coming from
Source? Center, from the center sun is like all the planets are aligned, and
source.
It's actually in May you have the high peak of the sun, and the low peak is in November. So what happened is we have the opposite wave, you know, that is trying to destroy basically all life force, and then from source is coming this wave that is gonna counteract the other one, and actually they explained this to me that the people are not gonna be able to handle this is because they already exit all the opportunities to change and walk the path of the source, and basically once they're done, they die, they're going back to dust. They're going back to home, to source, but their existence is going to be powder, no memories. They have to restart again the evolution of the soul because they've been walking the wrong road, basically.
They were so corrupted. Tank said they were so corrupted. They were so corrupted, there was no way. And Source tried. They all tried. I mean, they really said everybody else is literally savable except for 37.5, which is still a lot.
Yeah, but it's better. It's not as much as 7 billion. You know, that's all about.
Right. Right. And then you know what? They're going to go back to source, and then they'll start again, and then they can do it different. They can make a different choice, hopefully.
Well, we'll have another chance anyway.
Right. So I'm super hopeful. I mean, if we just keep our vibes up, right, and we just moving forward, one foot before the next, breathe if you have to. If you get stuck, just get quiet with yourself. See those rays coming at you and join those rays because that's source. And then just your source, right? Your source. That's just a joining of the source that's coming, the source where you are, and absorb all that new information. And
actually, the sun is, if you can stay a few minutes, you know, if first thing in the morning, the sun, just try to sit quiet in front of the sun and receive it like with love, because it's gonna help your immunity, revitalize. It's renewing everything. It's almost like bringing back the immunity that was taken with all these viruses, and because all this disease in the body is being induced by them. In reality, we're supposed to be immortals.
Right. There's a light being, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the sun is, and then you try to connect to your inner voice, your soul, and try to, you know, be happy, content, be gentle with yourself, and, you know, nourish yourself, because this is a good way to balance these waves, because if you get you stressed out, it's going to be kind of hard to handle it. It could be too much. So you just need to have acceptance and know that's source. Anyway.
Well, I think since we've all made it to this point and we're in this room together, we know a little something. Ourselves know a little something. And I feel whenever we come in the room, we're at that top of that curve, right? And we've already went past that. We just have to know we've already passed that in our beingness, the way we vibrate. And now we're just waiting. We're just waiting as this is hitting us and hitting us and hitting us. it can feel weird. I was getting a little bit of a headache, but then I just connected with myself and said, I don't want a headache. I don't want that feeling. I'm not trying to associate this experience of receiving source with a headache. I don't want that. I want it to be joyful. And it was gone. I was like, that's it. That's the ticket, right? We literally get to tell our bodies what we want it to do. It's going to respond because it's source. So it is what it is. I got to go spray, guys.
Well, this has been fun.
Thank you for the pointers. I'm going to try again.
Good luck. Good luck.
I have something good to show you.
Oh, excellent.
If I don't, I'm not coming. Wow.
Oh, quit being a baby. Stop that. Yes. Good luck. Just don't drown them.
If you guys didn't see me, you'll know you went, oh, poor baby, she didn't do it. No, I'm going to go buy mung sprouts. If I don't do it, I'm just going to tell you, I'll go buy mung sprouts. I'm going to stick it in the jar and say, look what I did.
You were so spoiled. My God. Everything has to work, doesn't it?
I know. It is. I got triggered. And so I have to go in and figure out, is this a character flaw? What's going on with that, right? Because I love your sprouts, you guys. I am so happy, but there is a tiny part of me. This is the truth. But I was like, I can't do that. Why can't I do that? I should be able to do that. I can do anything I set my mind to, except for sprouts. Literally. What's that all about?
Good grief. It's a storm and a tempest in a teapot. For heaven's sake, get your sprouts and quit stressing over it. What a
I know. Baby. No, I love it. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening to me. I know. Well, you know what it is? You're right. It's just so much success, and then when you don't have a success, something that you're very good at, need that to happen. I needed that to happen to go, it just isn't that big of a deal. I want them, but I can also go buy them. I prefer not to. I would love to have that experience. I want to do what you guys did.
Kim, if you can't take mung beans, put them in water for 8 hours to 12 hours, drain the water off, put something over them, and keep them moist, if they don't grow for you for then, it's the beans, okay?
It's something else.
I'll send you some beans. If you're that desperate, I'll send you beans that I know grow. I mean, anybody who wants some beans, I'll send you some beans because I've got a lot of beans and they're not just sitting there.
Beans.
You want to see the bag?
Yes, I want to see the bag.
You want to see the bag? It's 25 pounds of
my
heavy.
Oh.
This is.
Oh my gosh! Look at that.
25 pounds of monkey. Okay, I have enough.
That is so many sprouts.
Here's the deal. If I send you some of these beans and they still don't work, either they're irradiated to the post office, or then you really do have a problem. Okay?
Well, then that's a setup. You're setting me up, Debbie.
I'm not setting you up, but you've already set yourself up. So I guarantee your beans are going to grow. Just relax.
I know. You know what? That's it. It's a mental block. I think what I literally did is what you guys said. What I did was I drowned them. I drowned them. Because I didn't realize there's very minimal directions, and I didn't go look on the internet. So what I did was as soon as you said that, I was like, uh-oh. That sounds like that's...
Well, I could show you the other. I mean, it's pretty pathetic. And I just, when I realized I'd made this mistake, but by then they were pretty much mostly dead.
Okay.
And so there are a few that sprouted, but maybe 10%.
I just love that you're making food for yourself.
Oh, I'm eating the
jazziest thing I can think of, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Because I can't do it in my apartment. I can't, and now you're growing your food.
Yeah.
Want some beans to me?
What?
Actually, Kimberly, he's looking for a little house, so he's gonna have another farm.
Well, actually, everyone, I appreciate all this. I still consider myself a female, but it's hard that I have a voice like this, and so it's really tough. I appreciate it, but I'm not a he. I'm sorry.
Right.
Just have to remind you.
No, sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's just something I kind of have to. It's not fair to anybody. But in any case, yeah, the little house. I mean, I should show you this house. It's in right across the river from Blythe, and it's the cutest little thing you ever imagined. And I feel like if I could just buy it. Well, anyway,
Are you thinking, but you're really good? Are you going to move? Do you think you want to move?
Yeah, I have some inheritance money coming, and I have to decide what to do. And I've been looking, and California is just to me like a toxic place. I mean,
No, I don't know where Blythe is. Where's Blythe?
Blythe is if you go due east of Los Angeles on the 10, and you get to the Colorado River. There's a huge swath where it's irrigated by the river. And Blythe is the center of that, and it's an little agricultural city in the middle of this, it's like the Nile coming through the desert, you know. It's absolutely beautiful. I just love it. It's got wonderful vibes, and it's got so much fertilizer sometimes a year that you can't breathe. That's the other problem, the only problem with it.
My aunt lives there,
Beautiful,
Jimmy.
beautiful city.
My aunt lives there. She had a retirement place there until my uncle died. I know exactly where you're talking. There's a lot of little pockets down there with those, they call them summer homes, but you can live there year round, and it's right on the Colorado River. You're right on about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I love the desert, and I also love just the green. So if you want desert, you just drive 5 miles in any direction, and you've got all the desert you could ever want. And but it's just this beautiful little city, and it's well named because I do feel Blythe when I'm in there. And then if you want to go across to Arizona, God, I mean, Arizona's like, I don't know if I could say I'm living in California, but I'm looking at houses and, you know, where I want to live. And so it's going to be a while, probably several months before I know what this amount will be. But whatever it is, it's going to be enough to get something that's going to have some land. And I'm going to be growing, and I hope to be. Trouble is, I need to be around people, and yet I need a very severe kind of privacy as well.
Right.
It's just, you know, like, I need a place in the country. I need a place in town. I mean, yeah, it's like that. And but I've done some of the coolest places. And I just loved one place was in Quartzsite, and it's got so much land, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to build a high-rise greenhouse or something like that, and all the sun you ever want. So there's all the energy you ever want there. And
you'll do it. You'll find exactly where you're
trouble is, I need the sound of people around me too. And if you're living in a place where there's only like 3,000 people. Not many people.
Right. January, February, Quartzsite is packed with snowbirds, so you won't be alone.
I know, but you know, I also like the whole. Those are generally older folks, which is fine. But I like the sounds of kids screaming and playing, and you know, all ages just milling about doing their stuff too. So I'm on. You know, I have to make sense out of all of this because
you'll
now I
manifest
have to.
it. You will.
Yeah.
You're a secret gardener. You got your sprouts already.
I know. I mean, I feel like this is the greatest thing. If this can happen, I'm actually eating these because I realize I'm going to be leaving tomorrow for the desert, and I can't rotate. So I might as well eat them now. And this is great. I mean, it's
great. Oh, I know you're going to do exactly what you need to do. Everyone's going to end up exactly where they need to.
Well, if I get the place where I want, then everyone has to come and hang out. And let's have some fun.
Oh my gosh, yes, that would be great.
Yeah, and the town will never be the same. But it would be just so great. And Willow, when you're coming through, you know, you could stop by and nosy place.
I know, Willow, when you come through different towns, call us or let us know so we can stay with us or whatever you want to do. Just
I'd like to meet you all.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it would be wonderful. It'd be wonderful. So, yeah, it's, I'll tell you, I've been in a really, really bad mood ever since especially Thomas did that thing on the injections and I did my own research and so forth. And that really set me down, and I'm kind of floundering around with that. So this thing with the UNC is just, you know, it's like lifting me up. And just being with all of you and reminding me that it's really been a huge burden for me to take this thing on. And so you know, it's we are in the thick of it. I guess we're in the very crucible of this whole thing right now. Now that, as Thomas said, it's now no longer in the distant background. It is right here everywhere. So,
Yeah.
but so as soon as I leave this, I'm going to jump on this 452, Kim, and I am going to listen to this thing because I listened yesterday, and what it's saying, the 37.5 million. I just think a lot of those have to be MK Ultra.
I'm sure it has a lot to do with the really, really heinous things. The very, probably so heinous we don't know. We just don't know. We just know it's heinous. So,
and people we don't even know about.
The source says they can't be redeemed. So what?
Yeah.
That's fine. And then the wave comes through for us to help cleanse everything and bring some balance. So it's going to be information inside the wave that's going to be calming. That's what I thought. It's ultra love probably is what it is one of the highest love frequency source could send us. So if they're in a very low place, this won't feel good to them.
I have to tell you, because we had quite a wonderful talk on Monday night, and I kind of got some of this out. But I visualize things, and I have a pretty good visual system. I just do that, and it's just one of those things. And I visualize time. It isn't as though I visualize it. I just see what's there. And I do this, and so time has a geographic quality to it. It has, hills and valleys and that kind of thing. And normally I don't pay a lot of attention to it, but this year was amazing because in January, I started looking at the year just in this way that I normally do. And what I saw was my gigantic, like mountain or ridge or something that just started to come up in early spring and just it was monstrous. And this is huge. Something major is blocking, and then it came down. And what I see for the summer is July or June and July, especially, is just beautiful green. It came down and green July, and then August is August, and I don't see anything that distinct. The fall's going to be a little rocky and so on, and as it turned out, we saw what happened. So what I'm saying is that it looks from this, I'm seeing the summer is just going to be gorgeous.
Good.
And so we'll see, I guess. But if this is what's going to be happening, I really, really hope so. But it's about as distinct and as sharp as I've ever experienced something. And so, we had this thing. So I hope that the rest of it holds out well. And what you're saying seems to indicate we're going to have some really good stuff coming our way. And certainly.
We're ready for it. We're ready to. We've been preparing. We've been manifesting for this and waiting for this for so long.
Yeah.
Hard when you've been waiting and then it's upon you, like you guys were saying. When it finally hits you, you're like, is this really happening? Well, then we have to put something into place. Remember what they said. When the system goes down, we've got to be ready with something into place because the universe will not tolerate a vacuum.
Yes.
So Kim, let it be you. Remember how she stressed that. Let it be you.
Oh, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Yep.
Too.
So I'm really looking forward to it, and we will, I want to see what happens tomorrow. I'm going to listen to Tank and Dan now. And, it's, what they say, this is a great time to be alive. Well, yeah, but it's going to be really nice when this time kind of goes away and we get onto things that are not like this. It's like being in a 747 in the middle of the worst storm of the century. Yeah, you really feel like you're alive when the wings are flopping around and the engines are, God help us. But anyway, at least I have my first great, sprouting has arrived, and the rest of do have other plants, but you don't eat them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat the plants I have.
Now do something else too. Go make some other do herbs. You should do herbs when you come back from your trip.
I think it's going to have to be herbs. Yes.
Because you can just grow them right there.
Yeah. Well,
that's good. The more things you get to grow and get to put in your mouth, it feels great. Willow's right. You get to eat your own stuff. It feels good. It just feels completely different.
Well, I know what Phyllis said, though. It's like you're eating your babies. It's kind of like, I try not to think about that because, I mean, really, but here they are, you know.
Yes.
How beautiful they are. And,
well, they're source. They're still source and you're source. So they've agreed to be here, right? So their source came here, your source is there. I mean, for now, because we were light beings, right? At some point, wherever you come from, you're mostly light, your consciousness. So you recognize that. So here we are doing this now. We're here. Well, these are the ground rules here. You could be vegan, vegetarian, you could be a meat eater, right? There's all these different things to choose from. Whatever suits each person best, right? I know I don't like eating. I don't like doing most of this stuff. I'm like, I wish I didn't have to do it, but you do. Mm-hmm. To do it the best way that you can for you.
Yeah. Well, it's part of the entrance to, it's part of the price of admission. So, you know, I'm all for that. So, well, I hope that this strange vision of mine actually has some basis, and we do have as beautiful a summer as I see. Is just beautiful green, nothing hard or sharp. It comes right down and just smooths out into June and July, and then the rest of the year I don't care about.
Maybe you'll be in a new place by then.
Well, I was talking on Monday, and I'm ready to visit some other planets, you know, and I'm ready to meet some off-worlders and, you know, like expand your horizons, because travel is the best thing there is, as far as expanding inwardly and outwardly. So
well, you've probably already been entertaining people at Galactics and stuff. I swear I was in Costco one time, and I was just standing at a shelf, and I was looking at something, and I was like, because I read ingredients, and this guy walks up next to me, and I looked at him, and I looked back down, and then I was like, I looked back at him, and he was looking right at me. He was full force looking right at me, and I'm like, oh, hey. He's like, hi. He was just this smile, and I'm like, oh, hi. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm reading ingredients. He's like, do you love life? I went, yes, I do. Wait, why? Why would you ask me that question? Because that's kind of creepy, right? And I was like, looked at him, and immediately I said, he's galactic. He's galactic. Because it was awkward. He was being awkward. And I was like, in my mind, I shot off to him, oh, you're a galactic. And he just kind of looked at me like, what? And I was like, I see you. And then he smiled at me, and I smiled at him, and he's like, have an amazing life. And I was like, okay.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
So cool.
Bye. Thank you. Funny. I was like, so they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Well, if that's the kind of galactic we have hanging around, then I'm saying let's go for it, because boy, we need more like that.
Very normal. I mean, but he was awkward. It was just, he was awkward. He wasn't like a human who's been in a human skin for a long time. He was just awkward. And it was funny because today, this is the second time, my psychic stuff is picking up, because the hummingbirds are pissed at me right now because I made a different mixture other than what my husband makes, and they don't like mine. So I'm out there in the squash watering, and I have the hose, and a hummer's like right up in front of me, and he's right in front of me, and I'm all, okay, what? In my mind, because I don't speak to them, I just say what? And he said, hot. You can hear it, hot. It's hot. And I'm like, yeah, it's hot. And I was like, that's not what he means. He means his food is hot. And I thought, no, his food's at the shade. So I stopped the hose, and I'm like, all right. And I trudged over. Their feeders were in the sun.
Oh, wow.
They were in the sun. I was like, oh, my gosh. So I was like, and then I looked and saw they only had a little bit of food anyway. So I was like, oh, this is like the second time. My daughter-in-law was with me, and we were sitting there, and they came zoop right up into my face, and I could hear him say, there's ants. There's ants. And I'm like, what? There's ants? I'm like, they're not on your feeder. I was just over at your feeder yesterday. Those ants are not on your feeder. She's like, who are you talking to? I'm like, that hummingbird right there. She's like, no, because she doesn't really believe in that. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm going to go over there, and they're telling me there's ants. So we walked over there, and there was trails of ants, literally up the feeder, in the feeder. And she just looked at me, and she's like, oh, my God, did that bird tell you that? I said, yeah, that bird told me that. She's like, that's the weirdest thing. I'm like, no, it's not. We are always supposed to do this. We were always supposed to do this. We've always done this. We just forgot that we do this. We forgot this.
Yes.
So we're remembering this, that this is what we do normally, right? And they've always known, because they already know they can come zoop, right? And they're like right there. So that's where they're at me, like right there. And they just sit there. They're super consistent.
That's really great, Kim.
That's how they do when they talk to you too. It's just kind of like that.
That's really great to hear, because I did have a conversation with a bird once, and I rescued it. It was out cold on the sidewalk. I brought it home, and I calmed it by singing to it. It was and so about an hour later, it's moving around in this cage or whatever that I made for it, and so I started singing to it again, and instead of kind of responding and calming down, it just looked at me and goes, cheap, cheap. And what it was saying, and there's no question in my mind, it said, release me, release me. And I thought, I'm not going to release you. You were out cold on the sidewalk for how long? Saying, I'm going to keep you here until you're better. So I went away, and then about an hour later, I came back, and more movement, and the same thing. I started singing to it, twinkle, twinkle, little star. They'd like, and the same thing is cheap, and release me. And that was what I was hearing. And I thought, okay, all right, I will. See, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I grew up in a family of engineers, scientists, that kind of shit. So this is not supposed to be happening. Okay. So I'm having this conversation with a bird, and the thing was tiny. So I said, all right. So I took off the cover and then into the tree.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're telling me the hummingbirds, all of this is like, as I said, it was all science, it was all math, it was all,
It's what's supposed to be happening, Demi. This is what we're supposed to be doing. So all the wave that's coming in is washing away all of the blocks that stop us from remembering. Literally, that mountain probably are the blocks. And then when the wave comes in, it just removes the blocks. It just removes blocks. Because it's when they come into me, I hear them. I hear them.
Well, you just tuned into this, and so you're teaching me a lot, and just kind of reinforcing the little fragments. Like my tiny little roots are spread out in your this big tree. You've got all your big roots, and so it's really helpful.
The big trees. I just believe in source.
Yeah.
Even source. When I went to source before, it's a consciousness wave, and inside the wave, I knew I was in source. First, I thought I was a mermaid. Then I was like, I'm not. I'm a dolphin. I'm not a dolphin, because I couldn't see me, but I could see the wave that I was in, and I knew I was part of the wave. And I thought, what kind of wave is this? Because this is not the ocean. What is this? And then I heard, it's consciousness. And I'm like, yes, I'm not leaving here, because this is amazing. They're like, but you're here. You're here. You're always here, and then you can go wherever you want. But you're always here. You don't leave that state of consciousness with the wave. Where source is, we're still always there. But we're also like a portion is here. So we can put our portion here as well and do whatever we want. This is why we don't have to be fearful about anything. We don't, because that portion of us is the us. And I was an individual. I was me. I knew I was me. I knew who I was. But I was as the consciousness wave. And I could see the wave going up, and I knew that was time as it was, this wave. And I could see things in the time stream. It was a wave. It always looks like a wave. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And then the light that I saw after I left was Source. And I was having a massive conversation with Source. And I was like, whatever, I don't remember. Myself remembers, but I don't remember. This was this amazing light. It was very loving. I was like, I don't want to go back.
Oh.
You're already there. Yeah. You're already there. Because it's like, was that how we teleport? Is that how I remote view? Are pieces of me already places? It's like, yes, because you're Source. So you can just go there.
Well, then you're really all places.
All the time. Always. Every time.
Yeah.
Always.
And I think that, well, I'm just getting, I mean, this is so incredible. But I think if we can all do this, and as we develop this and we paying attention to it, like hummingbirds, I've grown nasturtiums on my balcony, and they're always, they're here because they love nasturtiums, and they'll come and look straight at me,
Yes.
and I'm looking, what are you going to do? Attack my eyes or something? Because they got that beak.
Well, they want to
Now,
talk to you.
the next time that happens, I'm gonna pay attention.
Send a message with your head.
Yes,
They
listen.
respond to head messages, telepathic.
Ants, hot. God, I can't believe this.
Yes.
Great.
They're telling you something. Maybe they want a different plant, or, maybe they want you to put the plants in a different fashion, or maybe they want something different.
Oh,
but
well.
They'll tell you what they want.
Okay. But
Ask
they're
them if they
not
want
real
cedar.
verbal. I mean, they're not giving you sentences, but they don't have to. They're giving
No,
you.
they literally, no, these birds literally tell you. Literally, but it's so it's like, I can see the word hot spelled out because I'm a visual audio kinesthetic as well. So clairvoyant, audience. So I'm clairvoyant and clairaudient. I can hear it too. So, I hear them say it. And they have these little high, because their frequency is very high, so it's like a high pitch voice.
Oh.
But
Okay.
it's there. It's just like they just send it forward. They send their consciousness to me, and my consciousness receives that, and then we have that conversation. So.
Well, that means, it's kind of a matter of paying attention and being sensitive and tuning.
Yes.
And that's kind of the first step.
Once you open yourself to it, you'll start receiving it.
Mm-hmm. What a wonderful thing. They're such beautiful birds. And there's so
yes.
many beautiful creatures. I mean.
They're smart. They're smart.
Yep.
And they want to talk to you, Demi. They do want to talk to you. So next time it happens, just open yourself. And then open yourself and then send a message. Just say, in your mind, say, hey, do you want to talk to me?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got all kinds of critters. I mean, the squirrels are all over the place. I've got different types of birds that are flying around. And I'm going to start saying hi. I think that's it's interesting.
There's so much around us. We don't have to just box ourselves in.
Yeah.
And take the next step. You said you wanted to go out and communicate with all these other beings. Just
do it.
Just
Absolutely. And
do it.
you have some galactic is kind of all kind of futzy yet and kind of clumsy and the next thing you know is have a wonderful life. I can't believe it.
Have a wonderful life. Yeah, he's like, have a wonderful life. I was like, you do. It was amazing. My heart was all pounding. I was like, because I knew it was a galactic. I knew that. My intuition said that's what this is.
Okay.
Pretty keen intuition. And it was just for me in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because I spent a lot of time star looking, and I already know you can send your consciousness out to remote view like I do, or bilocate. You can bilocate too as well. There's so much we're capable of, guys. This is just going to be the tip of the iceberg for us. Literally.
Absolutely. When I connect with, when we did that revocation in December, we were connected to the council, and then they sent us that letter, and every time I read the letter, I cry. I mean, I do. I have never experienced in my entire life the degree and the amount of love I experienced when I'm in that kind of space with the council. I've never, and it is so remarkable. It's like being in a cloud of love surrounded by a bigger cloud of love surrounded by a bigger cloud of love. It's that intense.
That's consciousness, yes, source.
Yeah, and so I'm just like, I just want to hang out with these people. I really do. Let's
do it tonight. I'm going to challenge you to go do it tonight.
No, but the trouble is that these are the members of the council because, and they've got other things to do to hang out with me. They've got jobs.
No, that's not true. They will.
Well, how do they have time? I mean, really?
Oh, because there's no time, remember?
Well, yeah.
There's no time. Where they sit, Demi, it's not like where we sit. So you can take yourself and bilocate. You can remote view. You can take your consciousness and send it to them, and they will pick up on it just like that. They will. They just do.
Yeah, I kind of had that feeling because I've been really angry with them, and I realized there's already that connection. I think
I was too. I talked to them a little while ago, and I got that settled. I got that settled out because there's people who own their own responsibility. I do, and they do, because they have done some things that maybe weren't quite so good, and so they're working with that as well. They have things.
Well, what did they say? Things like yeah, we're working this out or something, or they're on this or what?
They didn't give me any details. It was more like basically they have personal responsibility that they all have to step up for. And there's members who are on the council that aren't on the council now. So you actually have some new members on the council that weren't the same members. So it's kind of like now you're going to come in and clean up a big giant mess.
Okay.
So there's like galactic councils and universal councils. And you remember, Thomas said the Draco had taken almost completely over the galactic council. And they were members on the universal council. So.
Okay. Well, Kim, in the form of Christy Adams, said that there is no Galactic Council,
Mm-hmm.
Kim said there is no Galactic Council anymore.
I don't think so. I think it was dissolved because it was mostly Draco. And they left. Many of them left, remember? And they left.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were. Okay, so there's the Universal Council, right? I mean, that's it. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, whatever the hell. Yeah. We'll create our own council, create our own galactic council, and get everyone together, and we'll do it.
We do.
Why
we
not?
create our own council. Like right now, we sit here and we have discussions, and then we talk about them, and we include them, and we talk about things that are possible. Each moment, we're imagining it. We're imagineering the entire thing. So, in some reality, this is already being created because we're using our word, right? Which carries frequency and vibration. So,
right.
That's why you have to be so good with your word. When you create, you don't want to create anything that you really don't want to create.
Yeah. Well, that's great because, I'm all big on that. So yeah, we can create our own galactic council if we want, and we'll invite all the galactics. We can do that.
Right. You should, if you want to see a galactic, just ask them.
Yeah. I mean, talking to birds, meeting galactics, what the hell? Why not? It's a matter of exercising this and just kind of.
There's no limit.
At least you didn't say a burning bush.
Right. Don't do the burning bush.
Burning bush.
Just do what you do, right? You can talk to cats, you can talk to dogs and horses. Start there. Talk to the trees. The trees are extremely articulate. The trees are amazing.
Okay.
I was talking to a tree during the day, and I started crying. Someone had stripped all the bark off the tree. Well, who would do this? It broke my heart. I was hugging the tree. I was just devastated for the tree because it's going to die. There's no other way around it. And it was okay. It was okay with it because underground with the mycorrhizae and all the fungus and the roots, they talk to each other. So these trees can send nutrients to this tree because he doesn't have a skin anymore. He isn't going to make it. So, but it was okay. And that night I dreamed and I went into the trees. So my spirit went out and then I just jumped into a tree. And as I came in, it was like a bar. It was like a block party up in there. It was the most amazing thing. And they were like, yeah, we're glad you finally came in. Talking to you all the time and you just never pay attention. I'm like, well, I'm here now. And they were just chitter, 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 chitter. Little voices, big voices, so many voices. It was like, oh my gosh. We don't hear any of this. This is going on 24/7. There's so much around us that we're just oblivious to. We just walk along.
I've been blinded. I mean, I'm like I've got my blinders on and my head in a bag.
Oh, you just forgot, Debbie. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. You just forgot.
Kimberly, they said that trees are the vertical people.
They're what?
Vertical people.
Vertical people.
So many. I remember I went up to Sequoia over by Kenny on the coast, and I was with the big trees, like the trees that are like 20 some odd feet in diameter. And I was just quiet. It was like so sacred. And then I could hear voices. I was walking under the trees and I was like, are you talking to me? And I could hear, shh. And it stopped. My husband's an engineer, Demi, so he doesn't normally do any of this. And
oh my God.
Did somebody say something? I was like, yes, somebody did say something. He's like, well, who was that? And I went, who do you think it was? And he just looked at me. He's like, no. I was like, let's keep walking. So we just kept walking, and he's like, are you hearing that? I'm like, yeah. He's like, where are you taking us? I'm like, we're going to the nursery. And he said, what? I go, well, follow me, because they just told me that they have a baby nursery in here, and we're going to go see their baby trees. And it's going to be like a meadow, like a clearing. And he's like, oh, God. Because I've been in here 100 times. I haven't seen one. I'm like, because you weren't talking to the trees? Is that what you're saying was talking? I'm like, well, you heard him too. Don't deny that you did. Well, he didn't make any comments. We kept walking. We went pretty far in. All of a sudden, trees were just swaying, and I'm like, oh, we're getting close. And then we walked out the end of this path, and there were all these little baby trees, because there was a big open patch, and all the sun was coming down, so they could get the sun. Because the times you just get ferns and stuff underneath them because the canopy's so dense. It just kills out everything else underneath it. And I was like, yes, there's trees. He's like, do you think the Forest Service planted them? I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't care who put them here. Just like I had stuck the point. The point is the trees told me that this was here. So this is what we're doing. We're here because we're talking to the trees. And he was like, okay.
Wow.
But it was so nice. It was so great. I was like, you just have to open up. And then everyone's talking, right? Literally, all the stuff is the same matter that we are. It's the same matter that we are. It's from source. And so we have a connection. We just have to remember that. Yeah. And go out and be joyful every day that you can communicate.
Yeah.
Half of them would just be shocked that you're humans actually perceiving. Taking the initiative to perceive and to start a conversation.
Yeah.
Quite joyful. You guys will find it's quite joyful. It's so much fun.
Oh, this is so, I mean, it's like we have no idea what we can do we?
Not yet.
We have the tiniest amount of ideas of what we can do. And
what can't you can make whatever you want. Do whatever you want to do. You're going to love it, Demi. I can feel you getting all charged up. I can.
Well, I'm feeling a lot better. The darkness and the heaviness is like, oh, it's not. It was really bad. I mean, really.
I know.
Bad.
I told you guys. Remember, I was worried for you. When we came on the call, I was worried. I felt you. I could feel you from a long way. I'm connected to you. Somehow we're connected. Oh. So I could feel you. And I was like, I'm just worried about Demi. I'm really worried.
Oh.
And I don't.
Well, it was really rough. I mean,
I know.
You know, because it was like I'm just watching the annihilation of humankind in this scenario, and you know, it just was really difficult, and so was just, you know, and you know, I can deal with that. I mean, you know, the comfort was, you know, even if we get wiped out, you know, consciousness doesn't cease to exist. That's so there's that joy.
Right.
But you know, I mean, I'm think, you know, as long as we're here, we need to take care of our own garden, right? And make this earth a beautiful place. That's kind of what our job is.
Right.
And so I don't want to fail in that. I don't want to see this thing destroyed.
You won't fail because you're already coming out to the other side. Has anyone seen the movie Shawshank Redemption?
What is it again?
Shawshank Redemption. It has Tim Robbins.
No.
Great movie.
Prisoner. He gets institutionalized. Well, he eventually gets out. He gets falsely accused. And to get out, he makes a breakout of this prison. And he has to hack his way through the walls. Then he makes a tunnel. Then he gets down to the sewer. And he has to crawl through 500 yards of the worst and most foul-smelling shite. And he comes out into a canal, and the rains come down on him and washes him clean. This is our 500 yards of the worst foul-smelling shite.
That's right.
It's a good analogy.
On the other side, or we can put ourselves on the other side. Why sit up, right?
Yeah, and or jump.
Huh?
Jump.
Yeah, right. Just
or walk around.
Just start talking to the birds and the animals. It's easy to do. It feels good. It creates light. It's good for source. It expands source. And then you'll start noticing trees and flowers and plants and start talking to them, and then expand it out. If you want to talk to galactics, just tell, I only want to speak to people, galactics or energy that's source filled with the best intent possible.
Yeah, that's the kind of
energy out there that's not in the best intent, right?
Yeah, no Dracos. Not nasty Dracos. If they're good-hearted, I don't think it's like a bug. That's just,
nothing.
Yeah, what Kimberly said, and you can imagine these waves coming, protecting you like a bubble, like a happy bubble. You know, everything with is good, the darks cannot come in. The light, so you protect yourself in that way.
Well, look at this. If it's true what Tank is saying, President Trump just approved a task force called the Light Force. A light force. It's people standing up and protecting people. They are only enforcing the executive orders. That's it. That's all. And it's people. It's anyone who wants to join. Anyone who feels called to do it. And
But that's the beginning. That's the beginning. The People's Club.
Yes. Right.
Well, it's certainly the people, and it's certainly good enough for a club. That's absolutely right. Well, I think that I could totally think that Tank is correct, and that this is exactly what has happened. And now I need to get more details. And do I want to become involved in this? Probably, but executive orders I have a little bit of a problem with, because I don't know if there should even be executive orders. But I'll have to work that out.
Right.
But
we have to remember there has to be transition. So even though we're on the opposite end, we're talking light bodies and talking with animals. Most people aren't doing that. They're still not even thinking about that. So we have to deal with this, and we have to hold space here, right? So that's just a period of transition. It's just going to be a transition. Kim needs somebody to enforce her stuff.
Well, listen, I will be very happy to. If it's something that isn't going to be of a problem to me, that I'm not going to do something that I consider wrong.
Right.
But I don't think this is going to be. And then that's fine. I'll find a way to. We will do this, and we have to do this because I'm angry. With what's going on, and we need to stop this and stand up to these people. And this is a way to do this in a coherent, lawful way.
Right.
Then that's what we need to do.
Right. It just needs to adhere to natural law.
Yes, correct.
That's where we're moving. We're moving. We're there, and we're moving, because it's always all happening all at the same time. You just have a perception of it being a linear fashion. It's kind of like reaching down. Remember how they talk about the spiral? Thomas said we were somewhere at 1 o'clock. We need to go 12 o'clock. Well, I'm sure we're past 1 o'clock now. So we're moving on that spiral. And if you end of it, it's like a 9, right? You can shoot out the end of it. You won't have any of those issues anymore. The time is like that. If you just reach down through it, you're going through all those layers. It's always happening, always at once. Always.
Yeah, then this way the time, there is no time as such. It's just, it's always here. And the only there's no future, there's no past, there's only now. And that's called life.
Yes, your reality that you have right now. So there's right now, and I could be talking to you guys, and I could think of my niece, and I could right now remote view her and have a whole conversation with her while I'm talking to you. And she will remote view me back. We are eminently capable of doing this. Literally. Each and every one of you guys can do this. We can do this. This is the next step. We remember that we've always done this. It's just recently that we haven't been doing it.
Yep. Religion has blinded us to it. Other things have blinded us to it.
Mm-hmm. People won't even be, once you start doing that all the time, people won't be able to lie to you because you'll just pick it up. There'll be a shift and you'll go, no, that's not correct. Try again. Try again, right? Try again. Oh, there's all kinds of fun things coming up.
I think so. Well,
good. I'm glad you feel better. I was so worried about you. I didn't know if I'd get a chance to talk to you or not. So I'm glad.
Well, I really appreciate your concern, and that makes me feel good. It's been a rough it's been a rough time. But I've been through rough times before, and so you just kind of have to keep going through it, and so we're seeing. So I'm really glad, and thanks, Kim. I really appreciate that.
I'll always look at you because you gave me permission a long time ago, so I peek at you. I just take a peek at you, and I couldn't see you. That was a problem.
Oh.
I couldn't see you very well. So normally how I would see you, I couldn't see you. And that's why I was concerned, because it was almost like a disconnect. And I was like, no, that's not right. And I thought, hiding, I thought you maybe put yourself into a safe space and that you weren't communicating with people. But that was concerning because you always come to the calls usually, or you're available somehow. And I just couldn't feel you that way. So.
Yeah, it was kind of, I do have safe places and and some that I have to, but it's not usually something that, I will do joyfully,
I know. But you don't have to do that anymore. You're good. You're really good. You're really good.
Well, I think I'm getting a little stronger as time goes on. I think we all are. As we learn more, we learn, more about ourselves. This is so cool. This is so amazing. I mean, it's incredible.
Some birds and then message me and tell me what they said. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
God, talking to birds, talking to trees. I mean, I have a plant here that's, I call my hero plant because it's come through some really hard times. And when we were talking, I just felt I hadn't talked to it in two or 3 days, and I went over there and I stroked its leaves and told it what a wonderful plant it is. And you should see it. It's just a beauty. It was like the impossible plant. Nothing. This is not going to go anywhere. You're a dead duck. There's no leaves left. You got one tiny little leaf, and now you should see it. It's amazing.
Beautiful.
Demi, look at the house by the river. You said, I think living in a place where you have a beautiful view will be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, and living by water is so nice, so important to me. Water is just so wonderful, and I grew up in Minnesota, lakes all over the place, and I was there for 2 weeks, just came back, and I can't believe every time you turn around, you're stepping in water, you're walking around water, you're looking at water. They got water like you wouldn't believe. So yes, water is very important to me.
Yes, it's like source. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's source. Part of the living.
Something really fundamental and, Well, I cautiously optimistic.
Good.
And can't wait to get on and watch Tank and Dan. And when I see them, I'm just going to throw my arms around them and hug them so much because they have done so much.
Just feel joy. Just feel joy for your light being. And if you ever get like that again, just private message me or reach out. Okay.
Okay, I'll remember.
Demi, there's a beautiful video. It's 13 minutes. On YouTube, and it's How Diablo Became Spirit. How Diablo Became Spirit. It's about an animal communicator, and that's 13 minutes out of a 1-hour video. And that will just warm your heart about animal communication.
Okay.
I just want to tell one story. When I was 9, I was jumping on the sofa with my cousins, and our dog came to the door. And I looked into his blue eyes, and I said, Rinny, you want to go outside? And he said goodbye. So I opened the door, and he went out, because that's where he goes potty, in the front yard. And I proceeded to play with my cousins. It was a school night. It was a Sunday, and so they left at around 9 o'clock, and then I was in bed at 10, and then I heard my sister scream at the top of the stairs that Rennie got hit by a car, and he died. And that was when I understood that he created his own death. And so that was my very first psychic experience. From that point on, I sent myself to church. But that video with Anna Breitenbach, she's genuine. She's just like Kimberly, just so incredible. And another thing too is that when I was taking ayahuasca, I met a shaman that did 140 dietas. A dieta is you ingest the plant 8 to 30 days, with the hopes that the spirit of the plant will come and converse with you. Well, I didn't have those kind of experiences, but I did speak to a curandero, a shaman. He's not a shaman, he's a curandero, and he owned and ran his own retreat. And he told me that this plant spirits, they have different physical attributes. Some of them are like tall and thin. Some of them are stout. Some of them have a gnarled neck. And once they converse with you, you just have the memory when they do come visit you of who they are. It's just extraordinary. So then we could give thought to the plants that we ingest. It had the consciousness, the spiritual consciousness of that plant, of that entity, and that then we consume it. I mean, it's just extraordinary. And the same thing like using the incense from India. It's from a different country. We're using sage to purify our house. That's from America, or Palo Santo from South America. And, you know, I've been giving thought lately of how this consciousness from like another country, like Palo Santo or a tobacco from South America, how that would affect the consciousness of when we ingest it or when we inhale it or whatever. I mean, it's just, you know, I just started to give that kind of thought. And same thing with ingesting food, like bananas from South America or mangoes from South America. And it has the consciousness of that spiritual plant. But how does it affect us? And I remember I had a conversation with Thomas once, and I also heard this on one of his Thursday shows, where he says that the plants or the medicinal qualities of that country or those cultural beliefs of that country has some weight to it. I forgot exactly what the words that he had said. But anyway, you know, I'll have to try to pick his brain about that one. But it's just interesting when you think about it, that it has this consciousness. So, you know, all the sage in America has the consciousness of the sage plant, has that spiritual entity. I don't know what it looks like, but, you know, you can ask Cuandero. But this one Cuandero, they call them shamans, but they're not shamans. They're actually Cuanderos, which is like a plant medicine man. 140, and you could tell he was a really humble person. And he was a genuine medicine man. Can you just imagine having that memory of 140 spiritual plants? Just extraordinary. And that whole world is just amazing. And I think Kimberly just has that, I mean, it's just amazing what she does with plants, and just her whole biography and her heart and giving, and the transformation that she's done with all these people with gardening. You're amazing, Kimberly.
Oh, thank you guys. I just like to help people. That's all.
You're just amazing.
I love
You're a great teacher.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we don't want to educate, right? Oh, educate.
I'm learning so much from you. It's so wonderful.
No, yes.
We're all a little family here. We all have to support each other and love each other and expand. We all want to expand. We want the right and the same things. So.
Yep. We're like little seeds.
They just don't remember.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. If we can remember, that's why I'm excited for Kim's network, because we're going to start hearing the truth. And it's going to joggle, and it's going to wake up our memories, and maybe some of it will trigger us. But if we just let it go by us and go through us and remember, not be mad about what we hear, because it's not going to be very good, I'm sure, some of it, then we'll make it. We'll make it to the other side, and oh my gosh, I can't wait. Just can't.
Oh no, I'm just ecstatic, and I'm just like, you know, it's amazing, because this is water to a plant, is truth to a human, and without that truth, there's nothing. There's just desolation. And so this is going to be the water that's poured on the, if I may just get bold, poured on the desert of human life that has become a wasteland thanks to all the lies. And when this water begins to percolate, and some things will respond sooner than others, oh boy, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be wonderful. I think I don't want to get too far ahead because, everything has to be carefully built. I mean, just, all the plants have to grow and they need their stuff. But this to me is, without truth, we die. And with truth, we flourish and we reach into the stars.
The soul resonates with truth. I don't know about you, Demi, but I'm telling you, my dark night of the soul was hell. And I think when these people hear the truth, they may have to go through their own hell. And and we're going to be there to try to support them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that everybody is already in hell and they don't know how to get out of it. And sometimes the way out of hell is through fire or some equivalent. And that's why I think Thomas is almost, in a way, he's cheering this catastrophe because this is what's waking people up. Yeah. All this other stuff, you keep on putting all this bullshit out there and everything keeps working and working and working, but it's not. And so now this is the catastrophe.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be a catastrophe that doesn't have it's going to come back. It's going to come back, and the only way it can, ultimately, we can only leave this by, well, maybe there were other ways, but, I have an expression, what we don't learn in our heads, we learn on our hides. And so what we need here, what we need here is a good old hide learning. And I would prefer the head learning to the hide learning. But sometimes, we just have to, we just need that hide to give us a hand. And once we learn, we don't forget nearly as fast. For sure.
Yeah.
Well, look how far. It's only had to go to this because we forgot so much.
Yeah.
We forgot so much what we are. It literally came to this. I'm just excited that many more of us didn't erode to the point that we have to be resourced. That this many people made it this far, right? So.
Well, yeah, I think each one of us would have a very interesting story to tell about how we got here.
Against all odds, we're here.
Yeah, here we are. And that all the people who you can't communicate with about any of this, but it doesn't matter because, we are here and, thank goodness, thank source, whatever you want to think. But, we have to keep going because this is a very, very delicate, critical time. And I'm coming out of this darkness more and this, Bill, or why do you call you Jim? Bill, so got Jim is like, I was thinking Monday night, Jim is like, he could be in the middle of the whole universe collapsing and just he's sitting there like this, like, okay, the universe is collapsing, okay, and he's just like,
watching the show.
Yeah, what the hell? So there is that kind of core that's like, okay, that's not how I respond to things, but yeah. So
that's the attitude I think you should learn from Jim because.
Oh, I'm learning from all of you. Oh my God. Well, maybe I'll get to meet some Galactics. I want to go to some other planets. I want to see how other things work. I want to, these bugs, that come to ascensions to the insect line. As long as someone's of good heart and good intent, and Thomases are the gentlest beings around, well, I just want to meet more of what's there.
And you just put that intention out, and you send your consciousness out, and you go meet them.
Okay. All right. Now, tell me all about it. I'll bring it on.
This is the last thing I'll say, then I'll go. I was in a meditation, and I was just meditating. I didn't have a goal. I was just literally just being peaceful. And I had a visualization of I don't know exactly what, but 7 beings pulled me to them, and I was in a room, but I knew it was on a ship. and they were sitting in like a couch. It was like a curved couch, and they were facing me, and I was on a couch looking at them. And they were people. They were like people, really beautiful people, actually. And I was looking at them, and I went, huh, so who are you really? And they looked at each other, and they said, this is who we are. And I was like, no, who are you, and why did you bring me here? So who are you really? Show me who you are. So it kind of went, were we? And then other beings were sitting there. And I was like, nope, that's not it. Show me who you really are. I mean, the core of you. What are you actually? What do you vibrate at? And then they turned to each other and started laughing. And the one says, I told you she would know. I told you she would know. And then it just was like a blank. And then it came back, and they were just light. They were just light, like a rainbow light. And their faces were just light. And their bodies were just light. And I was like, oh, I want to stay here. And then immediately I woke up. I was like, no, why does this always happen, right? You go to the good spot, and you do not get to stay there very long. You do not. But just that second feels like forever. And it was the one guy was funny because he had a humor. He had a humor. He was like, I told you. I done told you she would know. Like, that's right? That's right. You can show me 3 or 4 layers of what you aren't. And inside, your intuition, your heart, your source recognizes that's not the truth, right? So you can take that. My point is, take that and apply it to everything else here. Go to your heart when you're out dealing with people. And it just allows you to remain calm as you can, right? Because you're going to rely on your heart to say that's the truth or that's not the truth. And as you're walking along your sidewalk, hey, right? Hey, bird. Hey, whatever, hey. And watch what starts happening. Send it out. Mentally, send someone a message that's walking by you. Say, hey.
That's an idea.
I do it all the time. Some people will stop and go like this. What?
Wow.
I don't go out in public stores at Christmas or holidays because I'm empathic. So I get, if I'm picking up something someone just touched, it's like, oh no, their memories show up. Or I could pass someone in a car if I'm really close to them, or go by their house if I'm walking by. And a lot of the older people, they like the Christmas, but it's all their old memories. So I will get impressions. It's like I'm getting impressions of by old memories that they used to have. That stuff will, so don't freak out if that starts to happen to you. If you start picking up impressions of people and things, just breathe and let it roll off you.
Well, if they're lovely memories or lovely impressions, that's just.
Yeah, you don't want the bad stuff, because you can also pick that up. But I think as the frequency rises, a lot of that's going to go away. It'll just, because I don't feel it as much.
Yeah.
Just start talking to people. Just telepathically send messages out and see who turns around and looks at you. It happens. I'm going to tell you it happens. You'll be surprised.
Well, I've had enough of it so that I can, the engineer scientist background is satisfied that this is legit, so I can go forward with this.
Yeah. You're going to have a great time. Everybody should try it. It's great fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, you guys, it's almost 11.
Good heaven.
Oh yeah, I'm not spraying right now. I'm going to spray's gonna have to wait for tomorrow. Hey, yeah. I love you guys.
Thanks for coming to the After Hour Council.
I love you. You're just wonderful. Thank you for everything, and thank all of you. I think it's time for me to listen to Tank and Dan Lutz and prepare for tomorrow. And I'm off to the desert tomorrow, and I will say hello to cactuses, and I will say hello to tortoises and other plants and critters.
Oh, that's good. Hey, if you get pictures, can you drop them into the Facebook page if you don't mind doing that? I don't know if you like.
No, that's perfectly fine. I'd be glad to if I get some really good pictures, and there's some beautiful places out there, and I will be glad to drop them in, and everyone can look at them. Absolutely, for sure.
I'll be with you that way. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good night, Kim. Have fun with all of your plants. You're doing great.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night, Philip. Thanks, Philip, for everything. Thank you, Willow.
Safe travels, fun travels.
Willow, be safe on your drive. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Everybody
Bye.
else. Good night.
Thanks.
Happy tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a great day.
Yes.
UNC is going to be debuting.
Yes, I can't wait for the truth.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Bye.
Bye.